jump in and talk about Christmas and see how everyone's Christmases went. But we need to start where we always start, and that is with jumping over to the preview. So we do have a preview. Obviously, this is a taped show tonight. So unfortunately, it is going to be a tape show. It is going to be a show where spoilers are out there. I have been trying to avoid spoilers and stay away from spoilers. But unfortunately, some of you might not have been able to have done that, because I know that they were certainly doing the rounds for these episodes. This is the last of the tape shows, though, other than NXT on Tuesday. I think Monday with Raw, we are right back to being live. So this should be the last of the tape shows of the main roster. So, yeah, it's one of those. It's obviously Boxing Day, so a very, very understandable that this is taped. But as we said, Monday we should be back to normal, although I do believe next week's NXT is also taped. Right, these are the preview bits. So not loads, but we got Drew McIntyre. He returns after Cody Rhodes invaded his home. So we're going to be hearing from Drew. We got Ilja Dragunov. He is going to be doing another US Open challenge. Joe Hendry is going to be coming to SmackDown to take on The Miz. And what we've heard, and this was in the recent Unseen, is we've heard that Joe Hendry, Sol Ruka, Trick Williams, Obafemi, Javon Evans, all of those are looking like they're going to get called up very, very soon. So it seems like a lot of those that were used at Saturday night's main event have really impressed. And it looks like they are in that next wave. And that next wave is expected to be quite soon. So Joe Hendry already popping up on SmackDown. Of course, he was at WrestleMania. He was at the Royal Rumble. He was used at Saturday night's main event. But word on the street is it won't be long until he is permanently on the main roster. Same with Javon, same with Oba, same with Sol Ruka, same with Trick Williams. So not loads in the way of a preview, actually. Not tons, but a few bits. And yeah, as we said, tape show. It does mean that we're going to have that faff of trying to stay in sync. And all of that stuff, but it is what it is. It's our final one for us to have to worry about, apart from NXT, but I know not all of you watch NXT. So, yeah, very good. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Hawks fan says, I believe. Hawks fan believes. Shane said, Daze, why did Gunther use the sleeper hold against John Cena on LA Knight use a version as the STF? LA Knight had no way of passing out. His only option was tapping, and the move looked more brutal. Well, I think he wanted to just put in... there was another option with an STF move. You can pass out from that. I think the reason for it is because they wanted to make sure that you could see John Cena's face. So it doesn't really matter what submission hold Gunther goes for in kayfabe. He's just trying to make John tap, isn't he? I mean, he just wants John to either pass out, submit, or tap, or whatever, right? But I think, so the reason as to why Gunther went for that move, it doesn't really matter. Gunther's not thinking about anything other than how do I make John submit, right? Because he did say that he was going to try and make him tap in the builds. So he just wants to make him submit. So any submission hold will do, right? Anything that's going to put John in pain and make John submit. In regards to why they chose that move, I think it's because they wanted that smile. And I think that this was the way that they felt it was the clearest way to see his face. It was the clearest way where he can be staring at the camera and, you know, before he goes, he can give that smile. So I think, you know, it was agreed on to go this way because this was the way that they could have Gunther win by submission, but also best present the smile. Hasib, hello, shout out to you. Did you see reports that Randy could be getting a faction in 2026? Take that as you want. Just thought I would put it out there. I've not, to be honest, I've not really seen too many reports. I was going to get an Unseen out, but Unseen is just, struggled a little bit today because actually it's been very, very quiet. We've had a lot from you lot where you've shown what you've got for Christmas, so that folder is absolutely fine. But it needs the wrestlers to kind of show us what they've had for Christmas, or give us a glimpse into their Christmases, or it needs a lot of like wrestling news, and obviously wrestling news just dies over Christmas and Boxing Day. So I really thought there would be more from the wrestlers, to be honest. So yeah, I've been keeping an eye out, but I only tend to keep an eye out on like the big rumor mills, the Fightfuls and the PW Insiders, whatever. So I can't say I've seen anything in regards to Randy getting a faction, but it would be good if he did. I wouldn't be down on it because I think it'd be a good way of bringing up some young talents and having Randy kind of work with them, or it would be a good way of using some people that aren't really fully being used at the moment. Blake Monroe did that. Apparently she wants us to spend Christmas with her naked. I did see the Blake Monroe one, yes. Connor said, Daze, have you heard Backlash returns to Puerto Rico? Yes, so there is a report about that. The exact date is not yet known, but apparently it's being penciled for May 9th. That dropped about an hour ago, yes. So that's interesting. I mean, it doesn't really... I don't know if that means we're going to get some Bad Bunny appearance. It makes me think there's a good chance he could appear on it. But yeah, fine. Not the most exciting news. I mean, Puerto Rico is fine. They were a good crowd. I think for me, it's been more enjoyable going to some places we've not been to before. I think I'd be more excited if we were going to Chile, or if we were going, like, apparently there's meant to be an Italy PLE next year. I thought Backlash stood a chance of being in Italy. So that could have been interesting. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking to kind of go to some places we've not been. So we've done Puerto Rico, of course. And it's fine. So, but just... I don't know, not the most exciting of news for me. It was fine. I mean, very exciting if you're in Puerto Rico. But yeah, I'd like to see us go and do a Mexican PLE. That'd be awesome. A Japanese PLE. That would be awesome. Italy was being heavily rumored as well. So I was kind of looking for some along those lines. But listen, we're still meant to be getting an Italy PLE. It just looks like it's not going to be Backlash. Daze, when will we get a pay-per-view in the UK again, says Daz. I can't remember if I've read that they're doing something. I don't think they are. Obviously, they're only going to do so much in Europe because, they want America to have the bulk. And then, I think they want to do Saudi, of course. There's always a chance of going to Australia because that kind of is a different part of the world. You see, the problem with the UK is it's so close to Europe that if you're doing an Italy PLE, people from the UK can get to that very, very easily. It's only a few hours on a plane to Italy. So, you're sort of hurting a UK PLE if you do a European PLE. But the thing with Australia is... I mean, you're not really hurting anything, are you? It's kind of out on its own, really, Australia. I mean, I don't know if people from New Zealand would fly over. I'm sure they could. But, Australia is such a big country that kind of doing a show over there, it's not like you're hurting Japan or you're not hurting Europe or anything. It's just really on its own. So, but the problem with Europe is it's all very close. If you do a Germany show or a France show or an Italy show, then, you're probably going to get people traveling from other countries. So the rumor is Italy for 2026. Whether they would do a second European show and that be the UK, no word on it. So certainly no words on anything for England or anything. So I'm going to say 2026, probably a no. but I don't think they'll leave it too long. I mean, I think the UK is their second or third biggest audience. I mean, it's like USA, Canada, UK, and honestly, USA number one, Canada, UK. I couldn't even tell you what was number two. We're like 2 and 3 somehow. So, you know, I think the UK is really important. They've been coming here consistently since 1989. They've been coming over. And of course, we know they're coming over as part of the European tour. So WWE is here every year. No doubt about that. But PLE-wise, that's tricky. They're really looking at growth, aren't they? So I feel like 2026, more than likely, no. But I don't think it would be too long. I wouldn't be shocked if it was 2027, 2028 at the latest. Julian said, hope you had a good Christmas. What was your favourite Christmas meal or drink you had over the holiday? Julian, shout out to you, buds. Yeah, so Christmas lunch was obviously pretty big. I think a lot of people go big for that. I have got to be honest with you. I have really, in recent years, moved away from kind of like drinking loads of alcohol and eating loads of food. I know that's the cool thing to do. But with what I do, I mean, I tend to get up. And when I get up, it's dinner time. So when I get up, it's time for like people are having the big meal. But obviously, I've only just woke up. So to me, I kind of struggle with eating loads at that time. And then what I'll do is I'll stream and I'll be doing like Unseen, or I'll be doing an opinions video, and I'll start to get a bit hungry. So somehow I'll just squeeze in like a microwave meal, but they're not very big. And so what's kind of happened is over the years, I've done that year after year after year where I'll fit food in rather than sitting down and having like a big meal every day. I'll have a little something when I wake up. I'll have a microwavable meal when I can squeeze it in. And then, to be honest, I might have a Snickers or I might have something like that. And yeah, I've just kind of lost my appetite, really. And the same with drinking alcohol. I used to like work in retail, and then I'd come home and I'd like have a beer with my dinner. I'd have a beer after that. Maybe I'd have one more before going to bed. And I'd do that every day, right? I wasn't like an alcoholic or anything, but it was just, I think a lot of people do that. You just come home, you have a beer with your meal. You have, once you've had one, like you know, right, done, put the dishwasher on, grab another beer. Sometimes I'd have 2 and that'd be it. Sometimes I'd have 3, but I'd do that every day. Now, I'm streaming, so I'm drinking coffee during the start of the stream, water after the stream. So I've completely lost it. I've lost an appetite. I've lost, like, you know, any desire to like really be drinking alcohol. So for me, I was drinking Coors, because I'll have a drink. So I was drinking bottles of Coors, not very exciting, low alcohol, and fine, you know. So I can't say I had a favorite drink because I was just drinking some bottles of Coors. I didn't have that many either, to be honest. And then food-wise, I mean, the food was great. It was like beef, it was turkey, it was all the veg and everything. So, I mean, that was great. But again, I mean, like, I've just got a plate full of food in front of me, and I'm like, can't eat it. I don't have an appetite anymore. So I'm really boring, honestly. I've become really boring when it comes to food and drink. I wish I could say I was experimenting with drinks and trying different cocktails and eating all this elaborate, crazy foods. But it was a normal Christmas dinner. I mean, it was pretty big. I struggled to eat it all. And then, honestly, afterwards, I felt a bit rubbish. Afterwards, I was like, oh, man, I just don't feel really good. I just kind of felt like I'd overindulged. Like, I'd had too much to eat. And, like, I was drinking Coors, and that was fine. But I was like, I've kind of learnt a lesson a long time ago that it's, you know, with Christmas, you can go crazy, but you do end up paying the price for it, to be honest, or I do. If I go crazy and I eat loads, I just feel really uncomfortable. I was like lying in bed trying to get to sleep. I felt like I had a bowling ball in my stomach, and I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good. So, yeah, it was a bit... And also, like, I was a bit tired as well. I mean, the thing is, Christmas lunch is at lunchtime. That's in the middle of the night for me. So, getting up to have that and then it was big, like a big meal. I was like, this is not fun. So yeah, Christmas Day was fine. It was good, but I gotta be honest, man, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite day. Like, I feel like I'm having to get up early to stuff myself with food that I don't really want, but I'm doing it because, you know, family. And then I just feel a bit rubbish afterwards. So, yeah, that was my Christmas. I hope you had a better one. It was nice. I mean, it was lovely seeing family and everything. So certainly not down on that, but can't say I had a favourite drink or favourite food or anything, unfortunately. But Julian, let me know what was yours, buds. Keep the Dream Alive said, do we think Raw and SmackDown need a draft? Yeah, 100%. They've needed a draft all year. They've needed a draft ever since WrestleMania 41. And we've said before, I've not done it, but if you actually sit down and you was to draw out both rosters and you was to look at the baby faces and the heels, the women and the men, the tag teams, then try and work out, right, throughout 2025, SmackDown has, on average, had X amount of matches and X amount of backstage segments, and it has used X amount of people. And how many, ideally, people do I need? I need this many men, I need this many women, I need this many baby faces, this many. I think you can work out a rough number. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. But, you know, you can work out whether you need 40, 50, 60, 100 wrestlers, right? You could get a number as to how many you need for SmackDown and how many you need for Raw. You could easily work out a number and then work out how many of them are women, how many of them are men, how many of them are babyfaces, how many of them are heels, how many of them are the tag teams, and get yourself in a position where you've got all the bases covered. You've got your main event scene looking good, your mid-card looking good with options, and of course you need a bit of breathing room for injuries. You're always going to have injuries, so you need the rosters a little bit bigger than what you actually need. So, you know, if you need 30 people, have 40, because, you know, you're going to have injuries and whatnot. And I think, like, for me, you would do that work. I would do that work if I worked at WWE to figure out how many people do I need, right? And I think if we was to do that, and we were to find that number, and we were to find out how many women, I think you would then see how short and how lacking certain areas are for Raw and SmackDown right now. And, you know, the one that comes to mind straight away is babyface women on SmackDown. I mean, we've got Chelsea Green as mid-card champ, and we've got Jade as women's champ. And if you look at who they're feuding with, I mean, Chelsea is having to feud with Julia, who's a heel. So Chelsea's a heel, Julia's a heel. And you kind of look at the options she's got for baby faces, and it's very, very thin. Very thin. I mean, we're talking Michin and B-Fab. Charlotte and Alexa are in the tag division, and Bianca is injured. Naomi got switched to Raw earlier this year, and then she became pregnant, so she's out of action. And you kind of go down, and it's really, really thin of babyface women on SmackDown. And you look at who Jade is feuding with, and she's feuding with Michin and B-Fab, and occasionally having glances at Charlotte. And that's kind of where we are with Jade. So at the moment, you know, it's atrocious. The women's division on SmackDown is just atrocious. So, yeah, really struggling. So, yeah, we definitely need a shake-up. We definitely need a draft. We definitely need to get those numbers back to where they should be and get the right amount of baby faces and heels and women and men and tag teams and all of that good stuff. But not only that, get it so that not only have you got the numbers right, because they're not right, but also get some exciting new feuds. I mean, move some people around that have not had many interactions before and actually set up some exciting new feuds so that your mid-card has got some really exciting stuff and options, and so as your main event scene. So, yeah, we've needed that since WrestleMania. And they've been talking a lot as well about doing it. They just don't seem to be able to find the time. There was a rumor the other day that ESPN wanted a draft, And they were even thinking of doing like a premium live event where the draft was going to be part of it. But they didn't, because they couldn't figure out how to make a premium live event out of the draft, which I do understand, because, you know, the draft is quite exciting when it's the big names at the top. But once you get past those big names, then you start getting to like the mid-card and the lower end stuff. It's not as exciting. That stuff is just not going to really, you know, by the time you're getting past those first few rounds, you know, you're really starting to get into names that genuinely people aren't really going to be that bothered by. They're just filling out the roster. So it's one of those where, you know, you can do it on a Raw or a SmackDown. But even then, we don't draft everyone. You know, the way that we normally do a draft is we'll do SmackDown and we'll do the first load. And then we'll do Raw and we'll do the next load. And then in the past, we've even done like a special on the network where we'll just announce the rest, because we don't really want to spend time talking about the people that are lower down the card and drafting them, because those announcements just aren't very exciting. So trying to figure out how to make a premium live event out of a draft, I think there are ways you can do it. You know, you can have people battling with the winner getting to choose which brand to go to. You know, you could have done some along those lines. Why people would want to go to Raw or SmackDown, I'm not sure. I don't know what would make someone choose one over the other. I don't know. But, you know, that could be a prize, couldn't it, for some of the matches? But they never did that. They could never quite figure out how to make it like a really good, really appealing premium live event. And so we just ended up not doing it, basically. They couldn't find a way of fitting it into a Raw or a SmackDown, because we were always building to a show. So still no word when we're getting one, but we do need one, definitely. Bobster said, for Christmas, I was told I'm going to be a granddad. Oh, congratulations. That's amazing. Brilliant. Bobster, shout out to you, my friend. Many congratulations. That's great news. Yeah, I didn't get anything like that, but that is quite the gift, isn't it? So, Bobster, well done. Definitely an unexpected present. Keep the dream alive said, for me, we need a proper 10 to 20 trades to shake it up. Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know a number. Again, I've not done that work. I've not sat down and kind of worked out. I mean, it'd be easy enough to do, because you could even just go back to previous drafts. And even if you just go to last year's draft and the year before and the year before and look at what the rosters look like. Granted, some of those were for 3-hour shows, but then SmackDown is about to go to 3 hours and Raw's 2.5, so it's not drastically different. So, I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too much of a change. But you could go back and just look at those rosters and see what WWE had them set for in the past. And actually work out from there, you know, the numbers, whatever. So, hard to sit here and say any numbers. I mean, it does need to be something major. We're certainly not just moving a couple of people. I mean, we need NXT call-ups. We need people switching around. I mean, it's going to result in a lot of trades. What that number looks like, I'm not sure. But, yeah, definitely we do need something. But no words, honestly. Still no words. The only thing is that there is expected to be NXT call-ups very, very soon. Very, very soon. That's the only thing that I've seen be reported. Robert, shout out to you, said Daze community. Hope you all had a good holiday. What is your top 10 2026 wish list? Well, I don't have a top 10 in my mind. Things that I would like to see. I think I would like to see, probably the things I would like are probably a bit more boring than other people. Because things I would like to see is I'd like to see better storylines. You know, I'd like to see more captivating stories that aren't just promo and match. I'd like to see something where we do go like into people's dressing rooms, or kind of see the wrestlers kind of going about their personal lives. You know, I think that could be interesting if, like, two wrestlers bump into each other at a restaurant or something, you know? I'd like to see something that's not just promo in the ring or a match or a chat in the corridor. I mean, even with Bloodline, at least we were going into their dressing room and at least we were like doing some stuff there. And that was kind of really working for character development. And we saw that the other day with The Vision. So, I'd like to see creative kind of pushing themselves a bit more. And I'd like to see us doing some stuff that's not so safe. So for me, these are the big things. I don't really care so much about who we do it with. But for me, it's more like, can we improve the shows? Because to me, the structure of the show is not quite right. So that's, probably a bit one of my big wish lists. Keep developing younger talent, but, find ways of making them more captivating. I think, you tried with The Vision and it was a bit flat because you didn't really invest in them. You just kept putting them in the main event. The thing is, if you take some wrestlers that are cold and you keep shoving them down people's throats, that doesn't warm them up. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't make them engaging. Putting them on TV a lot doesn't get them over. We've seen it time and time again where people can get showcased on a regular basis and they don't get over, because that doesn't get them over. You've got to actually do something that connects with the audience. So for me, The Vision, you kept shoving them on TV. No problem about the amount of TV time they got, but it wasn't very captivating. It was quite repetitive. And I didn't find myself really warming towards Bron Breakker or warming towards Bronson or even finding them that special. Their aura for me just stood still. So, it's one of those where that's something else I would like to see as well. Keep investing in the young talent because we need to, but make their presentation more engaging. Improve your storylines as well. So that to me is like part of my wish list. I'd like to see them as well keep going with unique set designs. So in France, we had the Eiffel Tower. Crown Jewel, we had like that kind of diamond gem structure. I'd like to see them keep going with that. We saw the other day in AAA, there was like this carnival match, this Carnival of Carnage match. And it was really, really interesting because the Wyatts were battling away in this Carnival of Carnage against Psycho Circus. And they were battling in these stalls. There was a bouncy castle. It was crazy. And it really made me think, like, how would you do that in WWE? Because we was backstage quite a bit away from the audience, and I don't think WWE likes that. So why can't we do it in the entranceway? Why can't the stage have stalls? So, you do like a carnival theme PLE, but then one of your key matches is the Wyatts against the MFTs, and they're fighting in the entranceway using the stage as part of the match. So all those stalls, they become part of the match. So I would like to see some of that. And we've started it. I mean, we had a big Eiffel Tower in the French one. We had like the gem. So, a lot of these pay-per-views have had very minimal staging and people have kind of been complaining about it. My view has always been I don't see TKO really doing much with staging because I just don't think they want to spend the money. But something has changed because they spent the money in Paris and they did something with Crown Jewel. So I would like to see that continue because I think it's very engaging. And plus also, you're asking Americans now to spend, $29.99 a month to get the show on ESPN. So you got to give people something for their money. Do you know what I mean? You can't just have them tune in and it's just going to be a flat show. I mean, you've got to make the show special because what used to be $9.99 on the network is now $29.99 and you only get the show. You don't get any back catalogue. You only get the show. So I'd like to see some more thought into the PLEs and really making them special and giving us OMG moments, but thinking of the staging because you are asking the Americans to spend money on it. Thankfully for me in the UK, we just get it all on Netflix. I don't have to worry about subscribing to ESPN. but your main audience, your biggest market, they do have to pay that money. So you got to make sure that it's worth it. So, you know, I think if you used to ask other people, they'd be saying, oh, I want Dominic to be a world champion or something like this. I'm not really too bothered about stuff like that, honestly. I mean, I'd like Sammy to be a world champion at some point, but if it doesn't happen next year, I'll just hope for it in 2027. It's fine, you know? For me, I'm looking more at, can we make the shows better? And what do we need to do to make the shows better? And I think some of those things that we've just mentioned, you know, definitely would build that. You know, something else would be do the work with the tag division. You know, they did the work with the men's tag division, and it was great. We had some absolute bangers from the SmackDown men's tag division. Can they do that work with the Raw tag division? Can they do that work with the women's tag division? And we are seeing them do a lot of work with the women's tag division. But I get the feeling that that's going to eventually just stop. I mean, look at the SmackDown tag division. It's just stopped. I mean, the Wyatts are the champs. Where's Street Profits gone? DIY just are in a lot of backstage segments. Fraxium don't get to wrestle that often. Like, that work they did in 2025 just seems to have been thrown away. The Raw tag division has got a little bit of life to it. You know, we got the Usos back. New Day getting matches. Viking Raiders reappearing. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee as tag champs and fighting tag champs. So there's a bit of life in the Raw tag division, but why can't we have all three tag divisions firing at the same time? Why is it that we do SmackDown, then that stops, and now we'll do Raw? And I'm sure that's going to stop. And we got the women's being built, which I also think will end up stopping. So, I don't know. Maybe we need to get some dedicated tag teams. Maybe we need to get some dedicated tag teams into those tag divisions. Make sure that when we do this draft, those divisions are strong. And, you know, really kind of get them all firing at the same time. It'd be good to have all three firing at the same time. I mean, that would really help. Imagine if we had great tag wrestling on all, like, you know, both brands with the women as well. Like, that'd be great. I don't think we achieved that at any point in 2025, having all three of those tag divisions firing. So, you know, better storylines at the top of the card, but that kind of goes with creative, making the PLEs, you know, better. Call-ups as well, you know, let's do some call-ups. We did get some last year, but I think the way that we used them very much underwhelmed. You know, a lot of people upset about how Julia was used. Can you imagine if they call up Javon, Trick, Joe Hendry, and they're all just not getting TV time or use? I mean, people will just complain again. So, you know, you've got to make sure that you get your call-ups right. Have creative ready for them. Make sure it's good creative. It all just keeps coming back to creative largely. It all largely comes back to creative, which is why I said if I worked for WWE, the first thing I would do is walk in, sort out those creative teams. Because it all seems to keep going back to storylines and character development, engagement. It all keeps coming back to those creative teams. So I don't know how many that was, but that would be the side of it I would be focused on in 2026. I'd love to see a new match type as well. You know, I'd love to see the main roster give us something new. It's been a long time since we had anything new on the main roster. I mean, probably the most recent thing that we've done is War Games on the main roster. And that's a match type from the flipping 1980s. You know, I mean, that's not a new match. It's just that we've introduced it into Survivor Series. So I feel like Rumble's been around since the 80s. Elimination Chamber goes back to the early 2000s. Money in the Bank goes back to the 2000s. Hell in a Cell we use every now and again goes back to, 97. So, do you know what I mean? Like, where's a new match type? I mean, we've seen NXT come up with the Iron Survivor Challenge. We've even seen Evolve come up with that Gauntlet Teams match, which we watched the other day, which was interesting. Two people start off. When someone loses, a person comes down to replace them from their team. And it's basically two teams in a gauntlet match. And it's which team is going to win. You got to eliminate the whole of the other team. So 5 people on each team, and you got to eliminate a whole team to be the winner. Good. Yeah. I think it fell a little short, to be honest, because there was a lot of people in it we hadn't really seen before. But if you was using people like Punk, Roman, Brock, you know, those kinds of names, it could really work. I thought it was a really interesting idea. So why is Evolve coming up with really interesting stuff? Why is NXT coming up with interesting stuff? And why is the main roster not? So, you know, that'd be another question. So I think if you could work on some of those, if we could fix some of those, I just think the main roster would be in such a better place. And that interests me a hell of a lot more than I want Finn Balor to be world champion. You know, I want Liv Morgan to win the Royal Rumble. Like, for me, those are just, yeah, fine, whatever. You know, we can do those kind of things any year, but can we get some of this stuff that's broken fixed so that we don't have a year in 2026 like what we've just seen in 2025? You know, can we end the shows with some real, genuine cliffhangers that really make us want to tune in the next week to see where this story is going to go? I mean, it's hard. It is really hard. I mean, with a good TV show, you have to worry about 20-odd episodes. But saying that, that's like half a year, pretty much. If you think about Breaking Bad or something like that, they have cliffhangers at the end to get you to, you know, binge watch. You know, I watched one more episode before I go to bed. You know, those shows. Those kind of shows that you can't stop watching. So you're like, I need to know where this is going. I'll watch one more episode, yeah? Now, wrestling isn't quite like that because wrestling's episode's like 2.5 hours, right? So, and it never ends, just keeps going. But they could do a much better job than what we saw in 2025 of ending on a true cliffhanger. Not just someone gets attacked, Vision attacks. Like, who cares? Who cares? Honestly, a lot of their cliffhangers, if they even were cliffhangers, was CM Punk gets attacked by the Vision for the millionth time. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care. That's not the reason why I'm going to tune in next week. I'm going to tune in next week because I like wrestling and I'll just be interested to see what they're going to do. But I am not specifically tuning in because I want to see what CM Punk's going to do with the Vision. You know? Give us better cliffhangers. Give us turns. Give us, call-ups. Give us, shock moments. I mean, even if you can't do it every week, do it every other week or do it once every 3 weeks or whatever, right? But just give us some stuff that makes us want to tune into the next week's show. I'd say that was missing as well. I don't think the way they end the shows is very good most of the time. Make it bingeable, just like Breaking Bad, just like all those great shows, Sopranos and The Wire. And yes, good question. Ravinder, shout out to you, my friends. Appreciate the support, buds. That coffee has gone cold. I'm not a big fan of cold coffee. Right, Big Time, hello. Big Time said the decision to move SmackDown to 3 hours coming off big data hammering. 3 hours can work, but they need a strong product because the remaining audience left don't want to be burnt out. Yeah, I mean, what I would say is I don't think they are doing that because of big data, because actually I think 3 hours is going to hurt them because big data is the average, isn't it? So, 900 and some odd thousand is your average viewership. Your average is not going to be improved by running another hour late at night. Your average is going to be lowered because people are going to tune out. Your average viewership will go down. So I don't think this extra hour's got anything to do with big data. I think this extra hour is because USA Network are going to pay more money. Give some extra money because it's extra content, and that's it. It's money. It's money. They're getting more money for putting on this extra hour. Like whatever ads run during that segment, I'm sure WWE will, get a percentage of that or however it works. So I think it's money motivated. In the build to WrestleMania, it can be useful because it gives you more TV time to promote feuds and actually build to WrestleMania and actually get some really good feuds going. But you're absolutely right. You've got to do something with that TV time. And people can get burned. People don't want to, just watch endless sludge. I mean, there's no point just watching for the sake of watching. I think there is a concern that WWE put out so much content via social media with exclusives and interviews and Raw and SmackDown. Triple H is having to spin so many plates. It's not only Raw and SmackDown. There is digital content. There are interviews. There's a lot of stuff that has to be overseen. And I think the concern is that you can easily sort of find yourself falling behind and then having to play catch up. I don't know if that's what happened in 2025, but, it could be a case that rather than sitting there and putting out quality content that you are proud to put your name on, you are literally just that will do. Kind of a lot of things that'll do, that'll have to do. We need to talk about what we're doing at the PLE. And, maybe because of the amount of shows and the amount of Saturday night's main events and PLEs, and I mean, it has been a lot in 2025. There has been a lot of shows. So because of the amount of shows and because you've had touring, you've been around the world and everything as well, because of all of that, I wonder if there was a degree of that will have to do. We don't have the time to talk about this anymore. We're just going to have to run with something. And then, you're kind of constantly trying to play catch up and constantly not giving things enough time. And, if that did happen, I can't say I'd be too surprised. I do think that creative was poor in 2025. And so the hope is that 2026 we can, kick on. I also think, though, that some of the talent we used is a bit inexperienced. So I don't think they were able to bring out the best in some of these moments. Like maybe the vision would have been better if it had had more experienced talent in it. Perhaps like Tiffany's title run would have been better if she had a bit more experience. I think her title run kind of falls off a cliff following WrestleMania. I mean, to be honest, who did she have to feud with, really? She wasn't really in anything captivating once she finished with Charlotte. So for me, what Tiffany did post-WrestleMania was just there. Her segments were just there. It wasn't very interesting. The match quality wasn't very high. And, maybe if, Tiffany was someone else that had experience, maybe those segments could have been stronger. So I think definitely creative get the blame, but I think there's a lot of younger talent that we tried to get behind and maybe didn't always quite deliver or, over-deliver. Because with some of these scripts, you need to over-deliver because the scripts aren't very good. So you need to over-deliver. It's just been difficult, hasn't it? I think I'm going to compare it to England cricket team again. Because England went to Australia, they're still there, with high hopes, and they got battered. It's currently 3-0. They're currently in the fourth game right now, and they're also losing that at the moment, right? So they went with high hopes. But the thing is, all of a sudden, some of their players didn't start performing. So, all of a sudden then, because they didn't perform, it puts more pressure on other people. And then they start struggling. Some of our best players just had so much work to do. I mean, one of our best players, he was having to try and score the runs, but he was also trying to get the people out from the other team. He was having to try and do the whole thing himself. And you could see he was shattered. He was absolutely shattered. So, where you've got underperformance, that puts pressure on other people. And then people that are in form and can do well are then being asked to do too much. And so they start struggling. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing just starts falling apart. The point I'm making is when something starts going wrong, it very easily can be a downward slope. And it can very easily start building up. And if we go back to wrestling, there is a very, very good chance that in 2025, things started going wrong. The planes started going down. Things weren't clicking. The top end of the card, like Cena's heel run, wasn't landing like they wanted it to. Because that wasn't really performing, it then puts pressure in other areas. In other areas, you had young talent that couldn't really carry that pressure. And so they struggle as well. Or their shortcomings are no longer being hidden. And you can just see them for the kind of limited performers they are, right? Because some are limited. And that's not a knock of them. You know, Tiffany, I would say, is limited. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm saying it because she's been in wrestling for 3 years or 4 years. And that's it. So everything she's learnt at the PC. She's come up. She's done great. They've given her the belt. And I think she's shown us everything she can do right now. I mean, I don't know what else there was she could show us. She's done everything she can do. Her promos are her promos. She's not going to magically just become better at her promos. That's going to take time. Her matches are largely her matches. She's got a few moves she can do, like the moonsaults, like the cartwheel into the corner. You know, she's got a few bits that she can do. But, you know, other than that, I mean, there's not really much else there. And that's fine. I mean, she had enough to get called up. She had enough to grab the attention of the fans. But the thing is, you put the belt on her and you ask her to have big, high-profile matches on a regular basis. And I don't think she has got enough experience to be able to do that. And I think then you start to see her match quality starting to, you know, become not very engaging. There's not really much to connect with. Tiffy time is kind of all we've got. And, you know, I think she struggled. But I don't think she was alone. I think there was others that kind of struggled as well. So I think, you know, like I said, 2025 was a difficult year. I'm hoping that that younger talent has gained experience and next year we can be in a better place. We can get the draft sorted. We can call up some new names, get some people back from injury. Hopefully WWE can, with these tape shows, catch their breath. You know, there's no one on that main roster that I have bad feelings towards, right? Don't have no bad feelings towards Tiffany. I wish her nothing but the best. And I think she can be a great star. But, you know, I just think that what we've given her was a little bit unfair. Rather than giving her a little run with the title, she ended up having quite a long run. And I think it just sort of outstayed its welcome. And maybe even did a little bit of damage at the end to her. Because I don't feel as great about her as I did maybe at the start of the year. I kind of feel like we exhausted her and she needs a break. And she's had a break, actually. She's been away for a little while now. And I hope she's been recouping, recovering, but also developing and evolving. And so when she comes back, she'll feel fresh again. Maybe show us a few new things. Maybe develop and evolve her promos, you know. Be good for her to go to the PC. Work on her promos and just, you know, trying to keep learn and develop. I mean, wrestling is a lot like boxing. I mean, you never stop learning in boxing. You're always trying to get new coaches, trying to learn new skills, trying to improve your footwork, your hand speed. I mean, you're constantly learning in boxing. I mean, Anthony Joshua has changed coaches so many times. He's now working with the Usyk camp to try and develop his skills. And wrestling is exactly the same. You constantly got new moves that you can learn, constantly can add new sequences to your matches, constantly can develop your promos. I think if you're a wrestler that thinks that you've got it made and you just basically show up to the shows and then go home and that's it, you don't put in any extra work. Well, I don't know. I mean, unless you're God's gift to wrestling and you can do that, I feel like you need to be putting that extra work in and not just resting on your laurels, because it's probably going to catch up with you because there's so much TV time to be filled. There's so many opportunities out there that, you know, you can't really afford to repeat yourself. And you can't really afford in this day and age to be putting out like bad matches. You need your matches to be compelling. You need to have that connection with the audience. You need good promos. There's a lot of work to be done, man. So it's not just her. There's a lot of people that I think need to step up. So this third hour gives them a lot of opportunity. But can they capitalize on it from a creative point of view, but also from a wrestler point of view? They've got the opportunity. It's a great opportunity. It's more money for WWE, which is great, but can they use it right? Can they capitalize, or is it just going to be a waste of time? And it's just going to be like a struggle, you know? A lot of people said when it was 3 hours before, it was a challenge to get through. It was just not fun. It was just not entertaining. So that is going to be the challenge for them in 2026. Edward, hello. Daze, just a quick one. How was your Christmas? Did you get anything wrestling related or stream related? What was your favourite present? My favourite wasn't a present. It was just spending time with my mom and family. Edward, shout out to you, bud. Yeah, I didn't get loads. I didn't expect to get loads, and I didn't want to get loads. Christmas for us is just about, my brother coming round and his partner coming round, and just spending time together as a family. I mean, you're absolutely right. I got up, and even though I wasn't like eager to eat a massive plate of food when I woke up, or to be honest with you, even eager to be waking up at like 3 in the kind of just after lunchtime, which is when we had something to eat. That to me is like, that's basically 3 a.m. to me, right? So to me, like, I operate about 12 hours out. So if I've got to get up for 3, I'm basically getting up for 3 a.m. So, getting up at 3 a.m. to have a big plate of food is kind of like what my Christmas day was like. So, there's bits that I was like, don't need that. But, I mean, you don't really think that way. You just kind of do it. Spend time with the family, and yeah, it was great. I did get a couple of bits. I got them down here actually. One of them that I thought was kind of cool was they got me this like Haribo jar, because I don't mind a bit of Haribo. It wasn't full. It was probably up to about here, so I've definitely had some there. But yeah, that's an actual Haribo jar from like the shop, and it had like a load of Haribo in it, which I was really thrilled with actually, because I like Haribo. So I mean, I can just keep that topped up. So I thought that was a really thoughtful gift. So really like that. And then I got some of these. You know that I'm a fan of these figures. So these Superstars figures. So that's the Ultimate Warrior one, which comes with the Intercontinental Championship. So that's really, really cool. Actually don't know the goods. There is some... see, the thing with these is you get items in the back, but I'm not sure as to what they are. There's a bag in the back. You can see it there, like white. I'm not sure what that is, but it probably is something. But here you get like the belts, and that's the Warrior one. Stone Colds. I mean, I love these because I like the face scans on them. I think the face scans look really good. The bodies are kind of a bit cartoony, exaggerated, but I don't mind that. I just think, like, action figures, like, they're just meant to be fun, whatever. I find the packaging, the old school packaging, to be really great. I like the face scan on them. And the body type being exaggerated is fine. And a lot of them come with, like, cloth goods. So that one obviously comes with a belt. That one comes with the jacket. That one's got a little something in the background as well. And then, look at this. I mean, this is why I love it. Because it's got old legends. So, as well as that, we got George the Animal Steel with his iconic I'm an Animal Lover shirt. And look at the face as well. It looks so good. And the hair on the arms. I mean, that's George the Animal Steel, who's like a legend. But, he's perfect for this line. He's absolutely perfect. I was so thrilled when I saw they were making George the Animal Steel. Because that's a kind of figure that kids won't care about today. They want Liv, they want Rhea, they want Roman. But, for me, they're great. I love those. But I like the legends, I like 80s and 90s. I like Brett. I like Owen. I like all of those. And George the Animal Steel was a big deal in the 80s. Really, really fun. So, yeah, you get a cloth shirt with him. Really fun facial expression as well. And again, just love the packaging. And then Nikolai Volkov. I'm not as crazy about this one, honestly, but it's good to have a Nikolai. So Nikolai Volkov is the other one they've done as well. Again, with the nice cloth shirt. Really good face scan as well. I think that looks really good. Face scan. What I like about them is they're kind of old school, but they have got really good detail. They come with cloth goods. And yeah, I just really like them. I just really like this series. I like the fact that it's Legends. But they have done a Cody Rhodes and they have done a Final Boss Rock. They have done a Bray Wyatt in this series. So I'm kind of, since I went to America, I'm trying to like collect them in a way. Because I've decided that I needed to be more focused with my figure collecting. Because it just got out of control. I've said before, I started wanting to get the champions and it just got out of control. And so now I'm in a point where I just want to get... I like collecting. I like legendary figures. And so I don't want to stop completely. But I don't want to be spending like crazy amounts of money. And the thing with the Mattel figures, they make so many that if you want to get them all, I mean, you are spending thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands actually, to collect, you know, a seriously big collection. So I was like, I just can't commit to that. Not if I'm trying to save for my own place. I mean, God, I'm trying to save for a chair, which I should be able to get soon. But, you know, this life gets in the way. So how do you collect something that you care about, that you enjoy, but also not spend tons of money? And what I like about this is they come in series of 4, and they only do about 4 sets a year. So it's not like this crazy commitment. So that's what I like about them, is that, you know, it costs money. You're going to spend money. You're going to have to. I mean, you are with any collection. But at least this one feels like it's a little bit more controllable, you know? It's not getting out of control. This one, I mean, I don't even know how long the line will go for, honestly, because I don't know how well they sell. I've heard a few people saying they go into their local Walmarts and they see loads on the shelves, which obviously is not a good sign. So, I mean, the collection might not even go, like, long. It might finish in the next few years, I don't know. But all I know is I really like the figures. I really love the old school packaging. And they've already done a good 50, 60 of them. And like Demolition are coming in the line. And I always like to see who else is coming out and what else they're making. Got a little wish list of ones that I would like to see come in this line. So yeah, I really love those. So I got some t-shirts, but they're just, you know, cheap Primark thing. And I got those figures. And I got my Haribo jar. So I was thrilled, honestly. I think I got a cricket book as well. Just a little, like, you know, fun facts about cricket. And that was it. I didn't get any more wrestling-related stuff. Those figures were the only things that I got. But to be honest, I'd only mentioned them in passing, that I hadn't got those. So there wasn't really anything I was particularly after. I don't need any replica belts. I don't need any t-shirts. I mean, there's some I could get. I don't need any. So I didn't really have anything else. But I was pleased to get... And, you know, it was really fun because, you know, being an adult and opening up your Christmas presents and actually getting, like, some action figures was kind of really cool, to be honest. I'm so used to getting boring presents where it's, like, t-shirts, pants, socks, you know, really boring bits. You know, maybe some aftershave or something like that, some deodorant, the kind of stuff that you're like, okay, thank you, and then like moments later you've forgot about it. But it was nice actually to get something a bit more fun. So that was nice. I really appreciated that. So I don't know that I have a favorite present, but those were the kind of the ones that I just grabbed to show that I thought people would be most interested in. So yeah, nice. So yeah, I mean, the whole day was like nice from a family point of view yesterday. But it was, you know, a day that, I don't know, as you get older, you kind of just, I'd much rather get it out the way, which is really bad to say. I like spending time with the family, don't want that out the way, but yeah, the kind of getting up to eat a load of foods and kind of sit around chatting and kind of like borderline. I mean, I was falling asleep. I ended up going back to bed about like 10 o'clock, I think. I was up at 3, went back to bed at 10, got up, did Unseen, and, you know, I was just like, ugh. So, yeah, it's one of those, you know, I'll be really glad to get back to my regular schedule. Right, I wonder if Jobbers, Michin, and BFAB will be on SmackDown, said Spartan. I think BFAB's a bit of a conundrum because she is someone that we've just messed around so much. You know, she's someone that's never had a real run in NXT. She was in Hit Row, but Hit Row, you know, didn't have like a crazy run. And even then, you know, they were having tag matches and she'd be on the outside. So I kind of feel like BFAB is someone whose development we've really messed around with. It might, honestly, I don't really know why we don't just move her back to NXT and give her a good solid run in that NXT women's division. I don't know why we don't do that. And Michin, I think, is really interesting because Michin strikes me as the kind of girl that we should really make out as being the current extreme option. I mean, Michin with a kendo stick in her hand, it just goes naturally. You know, Michin carrying a trash can down to the ring or wanting to bring out tables or, you know, like Michin to me is someone that will take things extreme, will enjoys street fighting. You know, that's the vibe I get from Michin. I don't know why we don't lean into that more with her character. Rather than her being presented as being like a jobber, which, you know, I don't think is fair, really. She's a good talent. She's a good performer. But you're not wrong. I think that too often she just gets used to put others over, and there's not really much thought given to her character. So she's just kind of found herself in that position. You know, she's in this feud with Jade. She ain't going to win. She ain't going to win that women's championship off Jade. So, you know, again, we're expecting Jade to get the better of Michin and then move on to, say, Charlotte or Bianca or, you know, somewhere else. Where does that leave Michin? I mean, maybe Michin and BFAB should go join forces and really go after those women's tag titles. I could get behind that. But I feel a bit sorry for BFAB. I think we've really messed her around. Her development has been a bit weird because of being in Hit Row and everything, and then Hit Row not working out, and, you know, now she finds herself, you know, sometimes she's with the Profits, and then she isn't. You know, it's just really strange, kind of. I don't know what the future looks like for her, where she'll end up, but, yeah, you know, as I said, I wish her all the best. Daze, that is exactly what it feels like happened. There's so much content. Juggling like 5 or 6 hours of TV. Triple H is always busy doing media. It's moving too fast. Maybe there's just not enough time to get creative, says Big Time. You could, honestly, I feel that. I do feel that. I think it feels like where there was maybe occasions that we needed to go, no, that's not good enough. That needs to be redone. We don't have the time to redo it. Redoing it means redoing several weeks of creative. Because if you plan out a storyline and the storyline's not quite working, it's not easy to pivot away from it. It's not easy to move away because you are changing several weeks of TV, maybe having to change a PLE, plus you're having to get an opponent that might already be in some sort of feud anyway. I think there is a degree of just having to keep going with something that's not working because we don't have the time or even the resource to come up with an alternative. And I think, you know, this is where, you know, that might not be working. So we're going to have to, you know, try our best with that. If that's struggling, and perhaps we had high hopes for that feud, whatever. And if that's struggling, you know, your next segment might be Tiffany. And that might have been a segment you was worried about anyway. So all of a sudden, this one feud that you thought was going to bang has not banged. And then your next segment that you was worried about anyway is only going to drag that score down lower. And before you know it, you're playing catch up. You're behind the 8 ball. you're in a situation where you're really trying to, turn the ship around, but it's just so hard. I do think, and it has been said before, and I will say it publicly again, I do think that it is harder than it seems when it comes to creative. I will say that. I think it's very, very easy to kind of sit here and to make out, well, they need to do this, they need to do that. When doing the job actually, I bet, is so much more difficult. But the only thing that I keep coming back to is you managed to do a great job in 2023 and 2024. You managed to do a great job then. No one feels that way about 2025. I mean, I do not see people online praising 2025. It's not that we're a moody community and we're just like moaning and laying into the show when everyone else is loving it. That's not what's happened. What's happened is that the show has underwhelmed for various different reasons. And, it hadn't been. And actually, there was enough in previous years that kept us engaged and was breaking records and everything was really good. They will know that 2025 has underdelivered because their numbers will tell them that. The viewership will tell them that. Video views will tell them that. Google Trends will tell them that. Merch sales will tell them that. They will know that the metrics are down, so they will know. But the thing is, once you're in, it's hard to turn it around. Once you're committed to a John Cena heel run, at what point do you abandon it? Do you keep going and trying to make it work? At what point do you abandon? And admit that it's not working. I don't know. That's difficult to do, to be honest. I don't know where that line is. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? I think it's really difficult because, there'll be a lot of creative planned for a heel John. So it's very hard to turn that ship around. Same with the vision. You've committed to creating the vision. They're going to be the focus over the summer. They're going to be the focus going into the winter. And it's just not working. People just aren't connecting. So what do? I mean, you can't abandon the group. It's a major group that's got major, kind of consequences moving forward. We're trying to get behind Braun. We're trying to get behind Bronson. Having Braun with Heyman clearly is not a bad thing. But the group itself just was not that captivating. What do you do with that? You can't abandon it. How do you fix it? So, I think it is difficult to kind of turn that ship around. I am going to give them credit on that regard, that it is hard. But they made it work. You did it. You cracked it. You did great stuff. And then 2025, you underdelivered in comparison. So we're only comparing them to what they have achieved previously. We're not comparing them to some super crazy standard that has never been achieved. We saw 2023, 2024 was very, very good. Right. Let's go back here. So, Jaylee, shout out to you, my friends. Daze, I'm tired of Nikki just being on the outside of the Wyatt Six. She needs some in-ring time. What do you say? 100%. Completely agree. Yeah, totally with you. And I don't quite understand what's happened because they clearly had her in the background of the Julia Chelsea segments. She scared Chelsea at one point in the corridor. And, she was on the steps when Julia was... she was clearly in the background. And it was clearly building towards her going into that feud. That had nothing to do with Wyatt Six. She was setting her sights on Julia, on Chelsea. She was going to be involved. Now, she still can be involved. I've not abandoned the fact that she might be involved. But she hasn't been involved, which is really strange. Why has she not been involved? Why did they not use her in that feud? Even if you bring her in now, why have you delayed it so much? Doesn't really make any sense. I don't know if she's not been dealing, because it's so weird. I don't know if she's not been dealing with some sort of issue. I don't know if she's not been dealing with some sort of injury that means that she has been struggling. because it doesn't make a great deal of sense to me. I can't quite get my head around why. I don't know if she's had a single match this year. Let's have a little look at cage match, shall we? And just search Nikki. I know last time we looked, she hadn't. So if we go over to cage match, which is a great resource. It's not perfect, but it's a great resource. How mental is this? Nikki Cross. Her last match was the 29th of December, 2024. That is genuinely her last recorded match. And that was a house show. That was the holiday tour that they're literally about to go on, like, tomorrow. I believe the holiday tour starts back up. So, holiday tour from the 29th. So, you can see there, look, they actually did one on Boxing Day. I don't believe they've done one today. Don't believe they have. Not seen any word of one today. But last year, they did Madison Square Garden on Boxing Day, and she was part of that. So, she did the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, all against Final Testament. So, that's when it was Wyatt's Final Testament. So, her last match was the 29th. The fact that she has not been used for 12 months, I mean, it's hard to believe that that is a creative decision. If it is, it's mental. There is so much TV time. There are so many opportunities for women. I don't even know how you could go 12 months without using Nikki in any match whatsoever. I can only imagine an injury, but there's not been an injury reported. So, and she was in the background quite a bit in the second part of the year. So, they wouldn't tease Summer if she was injured. So, it doesn't make any sense to me. I have absolutely no idea. I mean, even last year, last year in 2024, she had 5 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's 2023. So 2023, she has, look at all them, a lot more. 2022, obviously, a lot. 2022, loads, actually. I wonder, there is a way you can break it down by here. So if we put the hover over, it says 5 matches. You can't see what I can see. There's a little pop-up bar that shows here, which isn't showing. But the little pop-up bar there says 5 matches, 25 matches, 43 matches, 44 matches, 31 matches, 108 matches in 2019. And then, you get down to there and she has 5 matches. And then there is no entry for any match in 2025 for Nikki Cross. It's mental. It is absolutely mental. And there's a breakdown. There's the 108. There's the 5. And it just shows you each month that she wrestled. So it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. I don't have... And these are all the different promotions she's wrestled at. It's a really good resource, cage match. I know it gets bad press because people don't rate it because of the ratings. People are like, oh, on cage match it says blah, blah, blah. But look at all this information where you can see like all the different companies Nikki Cross has worked for. And then since 2017, it's only been WWE, right? And then these are all the indie promotions that she worked for previous. And that's every match by month that she's had. And if you click on matches, you can then look at all the different opponents that she's faced. Main event, Raw, live events. I mean, it's really good. It's a really good resource. But I don't have an answer to that, honestly. I don't get it. I don't know why she's not had any matches. Music, WR7SC. Shout out to you, buds. Is it perhaps something other than injury? Maybe another reason, maybe a personal issue, said Pete. I don't know. I don't know what personal issue would keep her out. I genuinely don't know. What would keep her out that's a personal issue? I mean, if it was like a loss in the family, I don't know why that would stop her from wrestling. I could understand it stopping her from being on TV for a bit, just like it did with Bo. but it doesn't really explain why she's not had any matches in 2025. We know that with Bo injured at the start of the year, the Wyatts missed a good 5 months. So, I mean, we understand that, but we got going with the tag guys, Gacy and Loomis. So how did we not find anything for Nikki Cross? I don't know. I mean, it is very, very strange. I don't know. Is the honest answer. It's a crazy one. I got tickets to WrestleMania 42, said yes, yeah. Did you? Yes, shout out to you, my friend. Very good, congrats. Is it? Oh, we read that one. Friday Night Smackdown. Is it on today? Yes, it's on in about 40 minutes. Daze, don't give us the finger. It was just a cheeky way of doing it, to be honest. People talking about football. Bling said they definitely need to put a belt on Nikki Cross again. Tracy, hello, shout out to you. I know fans always think it's easy to write a show, but I'm sure it's not that simple, said Sean. I agree. I think, though, where I feel comfortable is we're only holding them to the standard they've set in 2023, 2024. So, you know, they've shown that they are capable in 2023, 2024 of really good creative. I think it was Hasib that said, you know, was it a case Bloodline papered over cracks? And I do think there was somewhat to that. I do think that some of these problems have existed even in those time periods. But, you know, we just had some big stories that were enough to keep us hooked. You kind of take those away and you're not really left with a great deal else. So, you know, 2025 still had some great moments, but we're definitely hoping for more from 2026. Shockwave, hello. Daze, the last unseen you said about Lyra Bailey, you said you didn't like her slapping Bailey. It was to continue her split personality storyline. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of this Bailey needing to be fired up story. I'm not. I don't care for it. I don't care that it's a continuation of a split personality thing. I also think the split personality thing is not really showing itself too much. You know, the split personality thing, I don't know. For me, it's just getting messy because when Bailey was sat talking, the split personality would show itself. Like, you know, she'd be happy, she'd be moody. And she had this split personality that just came and went by itself. Somehow, and I don't know how, we've got to a position where Bailey's lovely all the time. But now the dark side only seems to come out when Lyra slaps her. Well, that wasn't how it was originally. I mean, in those vignettes, she was switching between the two and no one was slapping her. So we've kind of gone from that being how it's presented to now it being presented a slightly different way, a change that I'm not a big fan of. Personally, Bailey is not someone that, you know, she's been very successful in her career. She's been a tag team champ, a women's champ. You know, she's achieved a lot in wrestling. The fact now that she needs someone to slap her, to hulk her up, is just weird. It feels very forced. I'm not believing it. It's clearly just a creative story they've come up with, which is just a bit strange in my book. I don't know. The story seems to have evolved from where it was, and I'm just not really a fan of where we are with it. I think Bailey struggling because of her going through a period of time where she's not being as successful. And that is now showing itself with her hearing like a darker voice saying you're not good enough. You need to, you know, murk everyone. You know, you need to show them that you are. And her now kind of losing it because of her lack of success recently. I can sort of lean into that. I think there's some that you could do with that, and that's what made it exciting. Now that it's turned into Bayley's great with Lyra and everything's good, but now there's just times where Lyra's got to slap her. She's done it twice now. She did it backstage to fire up Bayley, and then she did it during the match. I just don't like that as a personality trait. I don't like that as a presentation. I don't think that's clever. I don't think it's interesting. I think it's weird. I think it's unnecessary. I don't see why Bayley needs that when there's so many other things we could be doing with Bayley. That I think Bayley said she was interested in doing like a love angle. Like she said she's never done like a relationship story, and she's like, I'd like to do it because I'd like to try everything. You know, I'd like to give everything a go. By the time I retire with wrestling, I'd like to give everything a go. And for me, I was like, that could be interesting. Bayley, I've never really thought about Bayley in a relationship. I don't know why. I think because when she was a hugger, she was very innocent and lovely. And then when she became like dark and moody, you know, she was just really all about championships and obviously Damage Control, her friendship with Sasha. There's just never really been a time where she's shown any interest in romance or relationships, and it's just never been a thing, which I think is what makes it so interesting, because that's just not something that we've ever explored with Bayley ever. That's not something that we've ever done. That to me is more interesting than us doing this weird thing where Bayley has to get slapped to get fired up. I don't know how it's turned into that. So I'm not a fan of it. I don't like what it's become. So I don't know. I feel like it's clearly something that's not going to last forever as well. That's the other thing as well. I feel like this is going to be Bayley versus Lyra, and this thing is just going to get dropped. It's not going to stick around, is it? They're just going to like do it, and it will just drop it. So I think that's, you know, a bit disappointing. Long Beach Hippie said, AEW figures at my local Ross store. I've been buying all of them for months. I've got 10 Kenny Omegas and 12 Jerichos. I've got so many more. I just go a bit stupid when they're that cheap. Long Beach Hippie, shout out to you, buds. Yeah, cool. If you're finding cheap AEW figures, pick them up. Go for it. Little bit of a fan said, evening. Is Smackdown pre-recorded? Yes, it's pre-recorded. Connor said, Daze, do we see any of these stars getting pushed? Trick Williams, Carmelo, Javon, Ethan, Sol Ruka, Jacob Oba. Yeah, all of them. I think all of them will get pushed in 2026. They seem to be fans of all of them. Tracy said, do you think the Vision will get over by adding Triple H to the story? I think that's dangerous, because if you add Triple H, you are going down an authority road, and that has had mixed results in the past. I think if you have Triple H as like a heel character, then you are obviously completely changing the dynamic of the show. And we've been down those roads when we had Vince as a heel character and Triple H as a heel character. And, you know, authority was really the main focus of the show for a long time, where we had Stephanie and we had Triple H, and obviously Seth became their champion. And they had like Corporate Kane and all of that stuff, J&J Security and whatnot. And, you know, we ran with authority. I mean, remember like them trying to keep Daniel Bryan down, calling him a B+ player. Imagine Triple H and the Shield. Remember that when he was going off, and, you know, there's always a plan B. You know, he was the reason as to why Seth turned on the Shield, and then Seth became like the Authority's champion. So we've done Authority stuff before, and honestly, I think there is something to it, but it, just like most things with WWE, it gets done to death, and then you end up with it being like, oh, I'm so done with this. I'm so bored of this Authority story. It's just never ending. They don't have the ability, WWE. And I think it's because wrestling never ends. they don't have the ability to tell a story and get out whilst it's good. They have to keep it going. I mean, Judgment Day could have ended ages ago and we could have done different things with those wrestlers. But instead, we just milk it and keep it going and going and going and going. And we did the exact same thing with the Authority storyline. You could make an argument we did it with Bloodline. Kept it going and going and going. I mean, it's ended, but you could make an argument that, you know, the MFTs are basically a new version of the Bloodline. And, you know, there's been times where we've had Roman and the Usos joining back up again. And, I mean, to me, the Bloodline story is done. But, you know, it definitely was done by WrestleMania 41, where Heyman left Roman. That, I think, is probably the end, for like permanent end. You could make an argument that it starts when Heyman joins Roman in 2020. You could make an argument that it is totally done when Heyman leaves Roman, WrestleMania earlier this year. So you could shave some time off that. But again, you know, they don't, I think because we don't do it in seasons, normally a show will have a story arc throughout a season. With wrestling, there's no end. So it just sort of keeps going until it runs out of steam and we think we've drained every penny out of it that we possibly can. And so, you know, that's when it gets like wrapped up. So I think, yeah, for me, it's one of those where the vision has had a difficult beginning. You could definitely bring Triple H in, but that will change a lot, not just about the vision, but about the whole presentation, because all of a sudden I'm guessing he would be heel. And I'm guessing that would then bring in like an authority angle. And then he would obviously want to abuse his power, just like we've seen in the past. And so, yeah, you could keep him babyface and have the vision kind of going after him. Maybe some people standing up. Maybe that would be a little bit cleaner if you went that direction. So there's maybe something to it. But I think the big thing for me would be anything involving Triple H should have an exit plan. Let's not outstay the welcome here. I would love it if WWE, you know, did a lot of stuff that just sort of ended each year. You know, like Judgment Day, wrap it up in a year. Or if it's really clicking, you know, don't abandon something that everyone's loving. You know, take it into a second year. But I think if something's going to go to year 3, even if it's really working, that's something where I think people should really ask the question, should we go for a year 3 here? You know, maybe you do, but perhaps there needs to be a rule where nothing goes longer than 3 years. First year is where most things die. Second year, the odd thing gets to it. Once in a blue moon does anything get to year 3, and maybe there's a rule where nothing is 4 years. Because even if it's good after 3 years, get out whilst the going is good. Get out whilst the going is good and come up with that next thing. I just feel like they don't have the confidence that they can come up with anything as captivating as what they... It's like they've got so many good ideas and we've got to stretch them out because there are no other good ideas, you know? So I think, like, if you bring Triple H in, then let's have an exit plan for later in the year so that we don't go to year 2. I think if there was a structure like that for stories and factions, you know, nothing is allowed to go past that point. And, you know, maybe even if the fans sort of knew about it as well, then, you know, it would be like with the Wyatt Six. Wyatt Six cannot go into year 4. You've got 3 years of Wyatt Six. That is it. Rather than just keep going and going and going and going. That could be kind of interesting. And then, you know, when it's time to go, it forces you to be creative. I mean, Wyatt Six can carry on, but it just turns into a women's group and a men's group, you know? So, you know, it changes, it evolves into splinter groups. And so then maybe you carry on and you do stuff with those instead. But I think it could be interesting because I think one of the big criticisms is we just drain everything until all the joy has come out of it. And we certainly did that with the Authority storyline. I think you could have got out of Bloodline quicker. I think you could have moved quicker, certainly with Judgment Day. I think there's a lot of examples where you could get out of things a lot quicker. Daze, how do we think Theory, part of the vision, is going to plan out? Will he become a tweener? Well, I hope he doesn't become a tweener. I don't think tweeners are very good. I think that he'll be a face. I think ultimately he'll be a face. At the moment, though, I'm not a massive fan of his presentation because they've made him very hard-nosed, like, heel. He's trying to be a badass. He's trying to stand up to Big Bronson Reed. And I said in the breakdown video, I would have gone a different way. You know, if I was bringing him in, I would have had him backstage, like, really down on his luck, really struggling to get TV time. And I would have had the Vision extend their arm to him. Just like how the Cullen did to Tatum. You know, they went up to Tatum and basically said, look, we'll be your friend. We're there for you. We believe in you. And she took to them. You know, she would help them, but she was a good person. And I would do the same with Theory. He helps them because they give him a sense of belonging. I mean, I think it's very relatable that in this world, you want to feel like you belong. And I think it's also very relatable that you fall in with the wrong crowd. And, you know, they bring out the bad side in you. And, you know, everyone has to make decisions, don't they? And every day. And, you know, a lot of us choose to make, hopefully, good decisions and constructive ones. But what if there's a group of people that encourage you to make bad decisions and they bring out that bad side, the worst side in you? And we've seen that many, many times. And I just think that would have been a very interesting direction. But it's not quite the direction we're going. Because Theory is willingly doing this stuff. He's doing it to sort of show that he's a good fit for the Vision. You know, he was the one that went up to Heyman and said, you know, I got too comfortable. I'm here to take now. You know, he is saying that to Heyman. Heyman is not bringing that out in Theory. Theory is saying it to Heyman. And so it's just not quite the direction I would have gone with Theory, but I'm interested to see where this plays, how this plays. I saw a really good tweet that someone posted. They said, you've got someone here who is a natural, likable, goofy baby face. Like, that is how I see Theory as well. You know, he's a baby face that you root for, that he comes across as not the sharpest pencil in the pencil case. You know, we've done lots with Theory in NXT and in A-Town Down Under, where he doesn't come across as the most intelligent of people, but he's likable. You find yourself rooting for him. The crowd just naturally chant for him. Like, they've done that. They did that, actually, when he was in A-Town Down Under. They would chant for Theory. And there was Theory chants when he got revealed as the mystery person. He's got this likability. I think he's relatable. You know, I think there is something to seeing someone who looks like he does. He looks great. And also recognizing that he's really struggling to work it out. I mean, clearly we are not working with Theory like we are with Braun. You know, Braun we're just moving, 100 miles an hour with. We haven't with Theory. He got called up. He was in A-Town Down Under. Before that, he flipping faffed around with his money. And remember that? Cashing in on the mid-card belt. You know, the stuff with Vince. And then he cashes in on a mid-card belt, gets murked by John Cena in a promo. And then we put him with Grayson, and it felt like that was going to be good, and then it turned out to be rubbish, and we didn't do anything with A-Town Down Under. I think there's a relatability there, because you've got someone that's got, he looks amazing, and he's young, and he comes across as, just a likable person in real life, but he just can't quite work it out. The penny isn't dropping. He seems to be stuck in the John Cena prototype stage. And I think fans, there's a warmth there, and so people are kind of, come on, Theory, rooting for him to crack this. I think we all want him to work this out, click. We want it to click. So I think, you know, having him led astray, to me, made all the sense in the world. You've got a likable person, a goofy, like, baby face that's very likable, and they're trying to present him as a hard-nosed heel. They're trying to present him as someone that's standing up to Bronson. How about you follow my leads? Goes up to Paul Heyman and says, I've done now with being comfortable. I'm just going to start taking. And actually, we're trying to present him as being someone that I don't think we quite see him as. So for me, it's not the direction that I think we should be going, but it's a direction we're going, and it's a direction I'm intrigued to see where it leads. So, yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm on board. I'm interested. We're doing something that's got my attention. I like Theory. Ultimately, I want him to be a babyface. Ultimately, I want to see him, Gunther, in a banger where Theory goes in as the babyface and we're all behind him and we want to see him beat Gunther and we all hate Gunther. Like, that's where I would like to see us. I'd like to see us in that situation at some point. And I'd like for them to put on a match that's 4 stars plus. And how we get there, there's a million different ways. I'm just watching to see how WWE and what they're doing. I mean, that's how I see him. Maybe WWE see him different. But it was very interesting to see this comment online that had got good likes and, you know, had got some good attention, where they seemed to be suggesting that they saw him the exact same way I saw him, which is like a goofy baby face, likable, but we're presenting him as a hard-nosed heel instead. So let's see. It obviously is early stages, and it absolutely could end up working if we, you know, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. It might turn out that, you know, he just turns around and says, look, when I first came in the vision, I wanted to impress. You know, I was trying to be someone that I'm not, and maybe he explains it that way. And then we quite easily get back to where we kind of thought it was going to be. So, yeah. Interested. I'm on board. Space Sam said, I would love Authority Triple H to be used in the Cody story. That could flip things on its head. It makes Drew correct that management is rigging things and turns Drew babyface and Cody heel, says Space Fam. Okay. Space Fam, thank you. WWE was so bad in 2025. 2025 has been existential, says Liam. 2025 has obviously had a lot of bad reviews. It'll be good to get out of it, get into 2026, start that road to WrestleMania, and, you know, kind of wipe the slate clean. The great thing is Triple H right now has got a few days off, and, yeah, he's spending it with family, but also hopefully it gives him the ability just to mentally have a breath. I mean, you just want everyone to just kind of take stock. I think, you know, this period of time, which is such a weird period of time, it's a period of time I love, actually. It's one of my favorite times of the year, this period now that we're in. It's called Twixmas, which I didn't know it had a name. But it's that week between Christmas and New Year's. And it is very much a period where people are sort of, you know, not massively pushing themselves. A lot of people are waiting for the new year, new start. You know, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm just going to eat rubbish and I'll just diet in January. A lot of people are like, you know, I'm just going to enjoy some family time and I'll get back to work in January. A lot of people are really focused on January at this point. And I think this is seen very much as a period for indulgence, a period for reflection, self-assessment, review, a period where you look back on the year and you sort of think about, what can I do better next year? What do I need to change about my life? It's a weird period that sort of feels like no other week, really. There's not another week in the year that I could really compare to this week, because it is where a lot of people catch up with friends and catch up with family. And, you know, don't really worry too much about, yeah, I'll have that dessert and I'll eat this and I'll do that and I'll burn it off in January. And there's not really another period like that. I really like this time of year. Not really for that self-indulgent period, but it just sort of feels a little bit like the world goes into a bit of reflection, and it sort of feels like we all just get a chance to take a breath and enjoy family, friends, looking back on the year, and it feels like we're all sort of doing that. And it's just this weird sort of hazy period, I think. I've always kind of felt that way about this Twixmas. I never knew it had a word, though. I never knew that it was always a weird feeling. I mean, you're off school at this time of year. You've had your presents. You're not back at school until January. You see an extended family. You've got your toys to play with. Christmas TV is still on. So it's not the normal schedule. There's still Christmas movies and whatnot being shown. You still got your decorations up. But Christmas has gone. But it's not time to take them down yet. Maybe some people do, but we never did. We never took them down until January. So, yeah, it's a weird sort of period, this. A period of reflection. And because it's so well known, I sort of feel like there's a good chance that people that work in creative are reflecting on their work. And Triple H hopefully is reflecting. And, you know, TKO are probably reflecting, but they're just thinking about how can we make more money. They're not thinking about the quality. They're just like, I wonder if we can move ticket prices up $10. Is there any way we can charge more for WWE shop items? So, you know, hopefully they're not doing too much with it. Unless they're thinking, I wonder if we should drop ticket prices. Hopefully they're thinking about that. But, yeah, we'll have to see what 2026 brings. But, yeah, I mean, I'll be pleased to say goodbye to 2025. I really want to get to a point where we're just in a more positive space. Because I kind of feel like with these streams, there's been a lot of these conversations. Feel like we have a lot of the same sort of conversations. But it's because so many people feel the same way, that 2025 underwhelmed, and they want to kind of understand why or share their thoughts why. They want hope that 2026 is going to be better. And so, you know, that's why we end up having these chats quite a lot. But to be honest with you, I'll be pleased to sort of move on from them and move into 2026 and really dig into what we're doing. And is it better? And is the build for WrestleMania better? And was the Rumble better? And is WrestleMania better? And kind of really get stuck into that. I mean, we go from this weird reflective periods into January, where we build to a Saturday night's main event, the Royal Rumble. And once we're past Rumble, well, once we're at Rumble, it is WrestleMania season. And that is the busiest, craziest time. That's where things are just popping off, you know. Everyone's, you know, got their feuds. They're doing their best to build them. You know, you get, like, more social media stuff kicking up. Like, everything just gets turned up. And I can't wait. I'm really excited for it, so bring it on. But, yeah, we've just got to get through this little weird periods where we then, you know, can get into January. I think TKO's New Year's resolution is to raise ticket prices and lower match quality. More sponsorships, more ad breaks, said Glockness. Well, I hope not, but I can't rule it past them, to be honest. We all know what they're like, but I hope not. Beast Mode said Drew is going to return tonight. We've also got Ilja, Joe Hendry, and The Miz. Yes. Lots coming up tonight. It is a tape show, so you do need to try and avoid spoilers. But, you know, it should hopefully still be fun, worth a watch. And as I said, I think we're back to live shows next week. Right, TKO are not firing Triple H, said Sean. If that happens, just watch how many wrestlers leave. Yeah, I don't think they'll fire Triple H. The only thing I would say is if the ratings keep declining and they, you know, have a word with him and we struggle to turn it around, then you could see maybe some, I don't know that they would fire him, but you might see some support coming in. It might be that he gets moved to book in one of the shows. I mean, it could be a case that we have a head booker for Raw and SmackDown, and we just kind of go in that direction with maybe Nick stepping in, maybe Triple H being kind of the head booker, but SmackDown gets more responsibility. Or, perhaps the structure changes. I think rather than just Triple H, you're out, they would look to change the structure. The truth is, TKO don't know anything about wrestling. They have absolutely no idea. So to them, it's like, if we get rid of Triple H, who do we bring in? I mean, they'd probably turn to Shawn, because Shawn is obviously booking NXT, so he would feel like the natural person. But to be honest, The Rock might throw a curveball in. He might recommend someone like Brian Gewirtz, who is The Rock's personal writer. If Brian wanted it, The Rock might be like, listen, there's a guy that writes for me that's brilliant. He's so good. He's been working for me for I don't know how long now, 10 years, 15 years. He would do an amazing job. He's so creative. I don't know if the TKO board wouldn't just listen to The Rock and just go with what The Rock suggests. So, Shawn would be an option, but I mean, Brian Gewirtz could find out. He used to be a writer for WWE. And genuinely, he ended up leaving there and working directly for The Rock. I'm not saying that would happen. I'm just saying what would happen. Let's explore the options. And one of them is that they get Shawn. But another one is that because The Rock's on the board for TKO, if he's got a suggestion, it's going to be listened to. I don't know who he would recommend, but he does have Brian Gewirtz. That might be an option. But I think, to be honest with you, Triple H and Nick Khan have got a great relationship. So I think that they're talking every day. I think the truth would be that if the ratings keep declining and the quality of the show seems to not be where it needs to be, like, say, Netflix aren't happy, ESPN aren't happy, I think they, rather than getting rid of Triple H, might change the structure where we actually have, say, Triple H run Raw, and then we bring in, say, Shawn or Brian for, or we promote Road Dogg, and he gets even more responsibility for SmackDown. And then, just have Nick overseeing both of them. Because there shouldn't really be... I mean, if Raw's being booked by someone, there shouldn't really be crossover. And if there is, perhaps you just give Triple H the final vote. So it's kind of like Triple H books Raw, Road Dogg books SmackDown, Triple H gets the final say, and perhaps, you just tweak the structure a little bit. I don't know that it would just be Triple H, you're out, and such you're in. I think that if things do decline in 2026 further, I think they'll probably look at the structure. That would be my guess. Just because I don't think they have any clue as to what they're doing, TKO, with wrestling. They've literally bought it because they want it as part of the portfolio, but they haven't got a clue about how to book. They haven't got a clue as to what would work, what the fans want. They're just businessmen sat at a table. So who could they turn to? Where would they turn? I mean, you could call up Shawn, but to be honest, I think the problems are deeper than Triple H anyway. I think, Triple H is the guy that gave us 2023, 2024, and he was the second coming. Everyone was acting like he was God's gift to booking. I mean, he was so popular. And then he has a bad year, and now he's like public enemy number one. It's how it goes, isn't it? It's the same with sports teams. If your sports team is killing it, then amazing. The guy is so popular. Your manager is so popular. But if your sports team starts losing, well, we need to get him gone. And it's really interesting how similar it is with wrestling. It's very similar. Same with wrestling. If everything's good, then the booker, yeah, amazing. We're so lucky to have him. And then if you have a bad year, oh my God, we need to get rid of him. He sucks. This is atrocious. It's the lack of wrestling in the matches. They feel like the same, said Luxie. Yeah, do you know that? But is that Triple H's fault? Have you actually put a spotlight on something there that's actually producers' fault? Are the producers good enough? Are they producing matches that are interesting enough? Have we got matches that are worthy of, being matches on Raw and SmackDown? Because I'd agree. I'd say match scores are really poor for Raw and SmackDown. I would agree with you. And I don't know that that's Triple H's fault. Triple H can say this is the story, it leads to this match. But when it gets to the match, That's when a producer steps in and puts the match together with the talent. And there's been way too many matches this year that have underdelivered. I would agree with that. This is why when I say I think it's a bigger problem than just Triple H, you can't put everything on Triple H. You can't say it's all Triple H's fault. He gets the final say. He has to carry the can. But I don't know that you just change Triple H and all of a sudden the show becomes amazing, you know? I think there are bigger problems than that, or more problems than that. But tickets are half selling, says Beast Modes. Joseph said, could move Undertaker out of AAA, bring back JBL to manage things. They could do, whether they would think to do that, be interested in doing that. I mean, JBL isn't booking anywhere. Undertaker is doing some stuff in AAA. I think they could be impressed with that, but to go from booking AAA to booking the main roster is a jump. I mean, my guess would be Shawn would go to the main roster, and then maybe Undertaker would go to NXT, and you know, perhaps they would look at something along those lines. But I think honestly, they would probably speak to Triple H to find out where the issues are, and I could see it being a case that they change the structure first rather than just get rid of him. I think that he's got a very, very good relationship with them all. I've never heard of any issue. But at some point, if the ratings keep declining, I could understand them feeling the need to do something, you know? It could get to the point where there is a need to do something, because you can't just watch the numbers going down. Someone somewhere has got to turn it around. And so somewhat, maybe it's Nick Khan they would get rid of. I mean, I doubt it. Everything I've heard about him is that he's a brilliant businessman. So I doubt that would be the case. But yeah, it can't just keep going down. Right. The Who review said, Daze, you should be head creative. No. It's easy to sit here and say the things we say. Who review, thank you. But... you know, it's easy to sit here and go, well, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. I mean, honestly, first of all, we don't know if it would work. You could do it and the results might not be what you expect. And also, I think it's difficult. And also, I think to be head of creative, you need to have experience in creative. So, I mean, listen, if they were to turn around and go, look, we'd love to bring you in the creative team, I'd snap their hand off for it. I'd love to join and try and help. Because I think, like you guys, as fans that have been watching a long time, I feel like I know what people are looking for. And I feel like I know what wrestling fans like and what they don't like, and what they want and what they don't want, and what's missing. And, you know, I read so many comments that I feel like I've got as good an idea as anyone when it comes to, and the same with you. I'm sure you're the same. If you spend time reading what people are saying, or joining us on these streams and hearing some of the conversations we have, I feel like you're in the exact same boat. Like, we know what works and what doesn't work. So, you know, pretty much anyone here, like, join creative. It'd be great to have someone that we genuinely believe knows what fans are looking for. I don't know that I have that feeling. A lot of creative tend to come from the TV writing world, you know? They tend to come from the TV writing world. So I sort of feel like, as a result, there's maybe a bit of a disconnect. But, you know, you've got Triple H overseeing things. You've got, like, Road Dogg as well. I think Drake Maverick's part of one of the writing teams. So, I mean, you'd think there's some wrestlers that are in there, some people that should know. But, I don't know. It definitely feels like there's something missing. Right, the video file for SmackDown is not there yet. They did this for Raw. It literally shows, like, the second it turns to the hour. So, nothing there at the moment. So, we'll keep our eyes peeled. So, at the moment, we've got... let's reset this. Bear with me. It's there. It is there. Okay, so it's on Netflix. If you are looking for the episode, it is there now. Okay. I've got Then, Now, Forever, Together. You guys are just going to have to tell me about where we are. We'll have to try our best. We're going to have to stay in sync. I've been watching wrestling since I'm 5. I think I'd be good at booking said Hawks fan. I don't think it's easy. I don't think anyone can do it. No, I agree with that. I agree. I think, though, if you've been watching for a long time and you are quite a creative person, I think if you've got the ability to look at the shows and know what you like and what is being received well and what is not working, but more importantly, what is missing, if you've got that ability, if you can answer yes to that, then yeah, I can't see why you couldn't be an asset. But I agree, it's not something everyone can do because there's a lot of people that watch the show and just go, oh, this isn't very good, but can't really dig into why. They're not sure why. It's a bit like me. I know the England cricket team's not doing well, but I couldn't really pin down why. A lot of people are like, oh, they're playing big shots. They need to defend more. But then they did that the other day and they got out. So it's like they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. And like, it's kind of a tricky situation, to be honest. So with cricket, I can look at it and go, well, it's not working, but I'm not quite sure why. But with wrestling, I feel like we've got a better idea as to what's missing. Okay, we have just got a recap at the moment. We are just looking at Cody and Drew. Yeah, there are a lot of people talking about the comments that were made from Cody. I don't work for you. I work for them. You work for me, says Cody. Happy holidays. There's Cody. Cody arriving. So we're backstage. Cody bumps into Nick Aldis. This could be interesting. Drew's on the way. Not one finger can you land on Drew McIntyre. Let me know when he gets here. There is Miz. Don't say his name. Don't say his name. Don't play his music, says The Miz. Is Joe doing a concert on SmackDown? That's how we're opening the show. Okay. This is mental, innit? We've got Tozawa sat in the corner. We've got, I Believe in Santa and Joe Hendry. We got Otis, Tozawa. I was trying to see if I recognise the women in the background. I don't think I do recognise. No, I don't. I don't know who they are. We've got a bunny in there as well. Why is there a bunny in there? Otis, lol. We are live, said Wrestle-Rants. Well, do you know what? We asked for more comedy segments. Who's going to be in? Is someone going to be in the bunny costume? I feel like someone should be. Okay. R-Truth is got confused. Oh, that would make sense, wouldn't it? R-Truth dressed as a bunny thinking it's Easter. Yeah, you might have called that. You might have called that. Okay, so it's a song about The Miz having tiny balls. It's been a while since we've spoke about Miz and his tiny balls. Here's The Miz. These girls are livid that the song's been interrupted. This is such a crazy way to start SmackDown, isn't it? Miz looking at the crowds. Miz putting his hand up. When his hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Yes. When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut. Okay, Miz getting in the ring then. We've got Otis in there, Tozawa in there, Joe Hendry in there. Now that John Cena is gone. I've earned the right to be the locker room leader, says The Miz. Okay, looks like we're going to open with Miz and Joe Hendry. Oh, okay. Here's Nick Aldis. Yay! It's going to be a Miracle on 34th Street fight. And we're going to commercial break. So, commercial break. Netflix. Yeah, on Netflix, it is just carrying on. But we are going to try and stay in line with USA Network. So, ad break. I've paused it. And when we come back, we'll get back underway. So, RKO out of somewhere said, hello, everyone. I'm live at an event in Baltimore, and Green Shirt Guy is here. Oh, have they got a show tonight then? I thought it started tomorrow. That's interesting. So, shout out to you, my friends. I hope you have a great time. I thought it was kicking off tomorrow, to be honest. So, that's interesting. That's interesting. So, yeah, have a good time. This, of course, is a taped SmackDown. So, that's why there are live events going on tonight then. Right. Miz is one of the elder statesmen of the locker room, said Stone. Tribal, see you in January, buds. When Vince did this, the fans would roast this, said Patriarchy Patriots. Well, I mean, look, I think that for me, this is... this is a perfectly fine segment for a Christmas episode. And I think that, you know, this is what Joe Hendry is going to bring to WWE. He does these sing-alongs. We know what his character is. The turning around, saying his name, he appears, all of that stuff, right? That they like that, and they want that to come to the main roster. You're going to see lots of that in 2026. And I can't really be down on this segment, to be honest, because it's their attempt to do some comedy. We know that we're getting Joe Hendry Miz. It's a showcase for Joe to kind of show what he's all about. I just don't think I would have opened SmackDown with it. I don't think this is how I would have started the show. The segment's fine, but I would have done it probably elsewhere. But, you know, again, it's a Christmas taped episode. I am sort of giving them some leeway here because, I mean, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's taped. I'm not really going into these shows with too much of an expectation. I didn't on Monday. I haven't gone into this one with much expectation. We've just said this week will be what it will be. But to be honest with you, I think you're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff in 2026. So it may divide opinion. But if Joe does get called up, like the rumors are being said, it's going to be a lot of don't say his name, people saying his name, him appearing, sing-alongs, the turnarounds, all of that stuff. Daze, will this holiday special match live up to the one on NXT this past week? That was a fun segment. That was bonkers, wasn't it? Lots of comedy and entertainment rather than an athletic exhibition, says Sean. Don't know, to be honest, but don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I think that... again, I'm not going into this with much in the way of expectation, but I'm sure there will be comedy in this. BB Yipsy said Elias used to do sing-alongs. This is like an Elias musical production. Well, I think those divided opinion as well. I don't know if Elias walked with Elias. I feel like it was popular, and then just like most things in WWE, I think it outstayed its welcome. I think like this is going to divide opinion as well. Okay, there's Akira Tozawa. We've got trees all on the outsides. We've got Christmas trees in the entranceway. This is being sponsored by Fireball. So we are underway with our opening match. Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. Crowd are chanting, we believe. Aubrey said, I saw The Rock wasn't speaking to his father when he passed. I can't imagine that. I watched my father die in front of me, and I feel sorry for him, says Aubrey. I did see that news. I'd imagine that's something that he's really struggled with, but you know, I think his dad will know, of course, that The Rock loved him and everything. I mean, it's just a shame. He said like they argued over something that was so unimportant at the end. So yeah, I didn't know that information. Obviously, he's never kind of made that public before, so very sad news that. Joe jumps on the outside of the ring, then goes over to a present. We've got a present that Joe's going to open up. And inside is a guitar. Quite a nice looking guitar, actually. Miz is looking to see what he's got. He reaches in and he's got a little guitar. It's like a ukulele. Miz is having a look in this one and there's tiny baubles. Corey Graves says they're ornaments, you pervert. They are perfectly regulation-sized ornaments. Corey Graves just called Michael Cole a pervert. I'm definitely here for that. Miz gets thrown, hip-tossed into a Christmas tree. Tozawa is applauding. Miz should take over the GM role. Get Oldest back in the ring, says Pete. Miz and Hendry in a Miracle on 34th Street fight. This should be fun, said Hawks fan. Here we've got a table being introduced. Hendry grabbing the table, putting it in the ring. Miz is still down after being chucked into that Christmas tree. Joe Hendry setting this up. We've still got that bunny at ringside. I mean, it definitely feels like that's going to be revealed as someone. I like what the Hibs are saying earlier about it being our truth. Skull crushing, maybe by the Miz. No joy. Goes over against the ropes. Caught by Joe. Joe looking for a choke slam. Picking up the Miz. Miz going back down. On the feet, kick coming in there by the Miz. Over against the ropes goes Hendry. Miz to the outsides. Back in the ring goes the Miz. So on the outside right now, we have got Miz screaming out. He grabs a bow. Oh, stomps on that bow. A present gets thrown in the ring. Elbow drop there by Miz. I don't know why he's elbow dropping a present, but he is. He just elbow dropped a present without knowing what was inside. What if there was a bomb in there? He'll regret that. Right. Miz will go down as one of the biggest winners in WWE after he did score Maurice. Right. Yeah, him calling him a pervert was like my favorite line, to be honest. So I've just paused because we've gone to commercial break at the moment. So Miz and Joe Hendry is underway. We are at commercial break. Right. Cole's Bar Humbug should be a soundbite, says Brian. William, hello. Hope you had a good Christmas, bud. Said, I'm a bit disgruntled. The wife wants to go to a fruity party in the new year, but I just want to lie in bed. I just want to eat. I want to eat fast food off each other. Well, that sounds like a fun evening. I don't recommend having a KFC though. I don't know what fast food would be. For chips, fries, that would be fine. Don't think you want any kind of sauce, but maybe you do. I don't know. Burgers over the Baps. Maybe a taco over the vagine. Send me a DM, William. We'll plan it out. I mean, I'm not taking part, but I can certainly give ideas. Sonny, hello. Hope you had a good Christmas. Sonny said, hello, everyone. Please consider buying my new book. It is The Thoughts Within. There's also The Soul Within and After the Storm. Sonny, I hope you had a good Christmas. Drew, return. Ilja, open challenge. Wrestling fan, shout out to you. Yeah, got some. Where are we time-wise? We've got an hour and 40 left to go. Boycott White Castle because they've partnered with AEW. Well, I can tell you now, Brian, I will not be going to a White Castle anytime soon. I can absolutely guarantee that. Spartan, hello. Hope you're well, buds. Daze, do we think WWE TKO will move on to using AI more, like how Microsoft are moving to use AI more? Yeah, I think they should use AI. I'm not against them using AI. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not. I'm not looking for them to just use AI at the moment because I don't think it's good enough. I think AI, if you actually search for some stuff, it comes back with some weird results and some incorrect things, right? So for me, AI is just nowhere near where it should be. It's not strong enough, right? But I think that it definitely is a tool that can be useful as a starting point. I don't really understand the pushback against AI. I think it's probably because people are worried about where it's going to lead and where it's going to go, and people losing jobs. So you don't want to give it an inch because, you know, it'll just get more and more and bigger. But I don't think you're going to be able to stop it anyway. And plus, I think creative need the help. So if you've got a tool that can sort of give you some starting points and then humans can take over and start fleshing those ideas out, I just don't see why you wouldn't explore that as an option. So I'd have it as a starting point. Okay, people saying that we are back. I've got Otis on the outside with Tozawa. And thank you to those that told us we were back. Right now, we got Joe Hendry throwing in some shots. Miz going over against the ropes. Clothesline there by Hendry. And Otis on the outside grabbing a tree. I don't know what was in that present that Miz murked. Again, tree being used, smashed into the Miz. Joe Hendry with the Miz and fall away slam there by Joe. Kip up by Joe. Okay, Joe Hendry with a fall away slam to a tree. Joe Hendry is doing the turnarounds. Michael Cole says he believes. Okay, right now we've got Joe with the Miz getting picked up. Comes down, round the back, to the outside. Miz to the outside. Miz goes down. Akira Tozawa has got these cookies. And Miz knocks him out of his hand. Big boot. The bunny is coming round. Miz is backing away. Miz is grabbing a kendo. Bang to the midsection of the bunny. He tries to wallop Otis with it. Otis, though, breaks it. Kendo stick there by Joe. Across the back. Hendry goes low with that kendo. Back in the ring goes the Miz. My friend will be happy about Akira, said Tony. Okay, right now we've got everyone getting in the ring. Tozawa's getting in. Otis is getting in. The bunny is getting in. I mean, I would say this match is like really broken down, but we've had a bunny out there throughout the whole thing. So right now, Miz is being surrounded by Santa, a bunny, an elf. They're all pointing at the Miz. The Miz is pleading. Yeah, even Michael's like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Kip up there by Joe. Miz is down. How are people finding it entertaining? Says I am gods. We're just letting them off. To be honest, I don't know. This is a taped Christmas show. To be honest, it's this or like just best of the year. Akira is up in the corner. He is perched. Miz is down. Akira with a senton off the top. Daze, I've put in a super chat. I think it's a brilliant reference. Okay, Aaron. There's R-Truth. Aaron, I hope you're well, my friends. Happy Easter, says R-Truth. You can't see me. Against the ropes. Does a little hop. That was the best part of the match. I think Corey Graves calling Michael Cole a pervert. And then a little hop there by R-Truth. Miz goes through the table and here's the pin. And we are done. Joe Hendry beats The Miz in a Miracle on 34th Street fight. Michael Cole says he believes in the magic of Christmas. Put your hands down, says Corey. Do you know what? And there's people out there that say AEW is better than this. Sign in the crowd says Cody sucks eggs. A little A4 piece of paper. Right. Well, that's 25 minutes. We're almost a quarter of the way through the show. Penny, for your thoughts, said, I thought it was fun. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. CJ said, I just want to say hi. Love the show. My husband and I were at this taping. Hope you all have fun watching it like we did. Sijinda Forever, shout out to you, my friends. Hope you had a good Christmas. Jake said, they release actually good wrestlers, but they keep clowns on the payroll for comic relief. Okay, we're backstage. Carmelo, Fraxium, Ilja. Thank you. Ilja liked what they did last week. It's given me life. Ilja, Carmelo, consider the open challenge closed. Ilja says, your pain will entertain me. Carmelo says, I won't miss. Please be a banger. Okay, we've got Alexa and Charlotte. Trying to decide which one is naughty and which one is nice. There is Lash. There is Nia. Booking zeros every day. Here's Drew. Let me now. It looks like Bono. Okay, here's Kathy Kelly. Okay. People said commercial. I don't know when that commercial is. Oh, here. Okay. So, looks like I was about just a few seconds behind you. Some of you went to commercial just before I did. So, yeah, I'm at commercial now. So, okay. Drew just arrived with yellow tinted glasses. Drew needs a nap, said Hawks fan. Hope everyone had a good Christmas, says Daryl. Same to you, but Santa's been eating too many mince pies, cookies, and milk, said Spot. Well, he does have a lot to get through, to be honest. I think we can all agree that that is a lot that he has to consume as he flies around the world. So it's understandable that he looks that way on the 26th. He's not in peak physical condition, is he, on the 26th? It definitely takes him a year to recover. Right, commercial break. Do we see Seth at the Netflix NFL show? There's been an injury update. We don't. I mean, it wasn't shown over here, but I saw that he was there. I know that he's not got his sling on. He's hoping to make it for Mania, but yeah, it wasn't really that big of a deal. I didn't think it was. one of those that's, just talking about football, but, hoping to make it back for Mania, so not really too much of an update, but we'll have to see. Hopefully he does. Humpty Vision said, I believe in Joe Hendry if he is going to unionize the jobbers. I wonder what Santa brings to Hollywood star gifts. Do they get better gifts, says William. Yes, they get cocaine. Restaurant said, if we post spoilers in here, you're going to get blocked. And also, none of your dreams will come true. That is true. No spoilers. They serve no purpose. We're all going to find out what happened on this show within the next hour and a half. Santa needs some Cody-approved Wheatley American, but we all do, Joseph. Cody, if you are watching this and you want to gift everyone in the community some Wheatley vodka, that would be greatly appreciated. Yeah? Not turning that down. Daze, are we taping again on Monday? No, I think we're back Raw on Monday. Live for Raw. Cody doesn't need to answer anyone except for two people, Triple H and Steph, said Jay Wrestler. Raw is live, said James. James, hello. Hope you had a good Christmas, buds. Robbie said, shout out to the USA Network for being believers in Joe Hendry and for requesting him for SmackDown. Shakeem, thank you, my friends. Firing in a membership. Appreciate it, buds. And Aaron said, the bunny returns. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. Aaron, thank you, my friends. The bunny is back. We're just keeping our fingers crossed that Adam Rose is not too far behind. So, yeah. Aaron, shout out to you, buds. James said, it's been great. I ate loads. That's what it's all about. Wrestle with Andy. Merry Christmas. The SmackDown women and the mid-card title pictures need to be reversed in opposite order. The SmackDown women and the mid-card title pictures need to be reversed. So, what do you mean? Are you saying, like, Chelsea should be the champ, Jade should be the mid-card champ? It should be Chelsea, Julia for the top title, Jade, Meacham for the mid-card title. That would actually make sense. Funny thing is, lots of WWE stars now used to be Rosebuds, including Damian Priest, said Hawks fan. Does anyone know if Adam Rose still wrestles? I actually don't know. We're back! I don't know if he does. Okay, Alistair Black. Okay, so Alistair's just talking about Damien right now. Here's Zelina. Is this feud ever going to end? This ends when I say it ends. It has been 6 months. It's a long vignette, isn't it? Win or lose, we changed you, Damien. Uh, 6 months. Yeah. Okay. I hope when we get to that match, it's the final one. I don't need it carrying on any longer, personally. Right, we've got Jade's. Here's Jade backstage with that championship. Just showing a couple of weeks ago her murking Michin, and then last week Michin taking out Jade's. I don't need weapons. I am a weapon. She had a mark on her face, which I think is the scar from when she got thrown into those ring steps. Okay, we got B-Fab, we got Michin. No. She needs to get humbled. Michin said we're going to humble her next week, so we'll have to. I don't know what that match is. We'll find out later when they go through the matches. Okay, here comes Lash making her way down with Nia. So I'm guessing this is against Alexa or Charlotte. Okay, I can tell you our opening match got good 88%. Lash making her way down to the ring. She's been a recent caller. It is Charlotte, and we are going to commercial break again. So Lash Legend making her way down. It's going to be Charlotte Flair versus Lash Legend. All the presents and trees and everything have been removed from ringside following that first match, and we are at commercial break. There we go. Right. Jade is wearing me thin, says Tony. Sean said, thank goodness Alistair is finally ready to end this feud with Damien. This feud has dragged on for far too long. I don't think either has gained anything from it. Alistair is so unlucky. He was in WWE. He was great in NXT. Main roster, mid-card. AEW, mid-card. And again, mid-card. The dude has got everything to be a world heavyweight champion, in my opinion, says Aaron. Yeah. I think actually Alistair is really difficult because I feel like this has not been a good feud with Damien. It's not been an interesting feud. I know that we have introduced Selena into it, but for me, that has not helped massively yet. I think there is potential, but I think I'd like for us to dig into this character more. You know, they kind of operate in a bit of a darkness, but there's not really much darkness there. There's not really much mystery there. I kind of feel like his entrance with the candles and like the imagery, it all suggests like there being a dark side, like, you know, devil worship and all this kind of stuff. But we don't really go into any of that. We don't tease any of that. We don't show any of that. There's nothing kind of to any of that. I mean, it just, I don't know, it feels very shallow. I think there's definitely stuff we could explore. I suppose the danger or the problem is they don't want to step on the Wyatt 6 toes and make anything too similar. So they're having to try and carve out Alistair and carve out his path. And at the moment, it's a bit shallow. And so the only thing we've got are his promos, which tend to be videotapes, vignettes, which are fine. But I don't know. I mean, we see a lot of like pre-recorded vignettes, and they don't quite hit the same as someone going back and forth in the ring with some killer lines, you know? I always think they land better. And then, of course, match quality. You look at that and it's like, I don't think this feud with Damien has really done anything. So it sort of feels like there's a bit of a lack of momentum. I think if he was in a really good feud with someone and we were doing really good back and forth promos and we were digging deeper into the character and we was putting on like really strong matches, that would give him the forward momentum to then, you know, start getting higher up the card. But I think coming out of this feuds, I don't know where he goes. I mean, it doesn't feel to me like he's going to be sniffing around any top titles. And this is a bad brand for that. Because the top title here is Cody. He ain't nowhere near WWE title. He needs to be on Raw going after the World Heavyweight title. And he probably needs to be on a different brand to the Wyatt 6. Because if you are going to dig into that spooky, darker side, get him off the same brand that the Wyatts are on. If he is going to be a world champion, then get him to the belt that's more likely to be his, which is the World Heavyweight title, not the WWE one. I think he's on the wrong brand. I would definitely move him in a draft. Definitely. But I agree with you. I think it's been a bad feud. I think he's got real potential. I'd like to see... I'd like to see us kind of invest in him, but we need to get some momentum going. I don't think this Damien feud has done it. Has the show got adverts in the US network? Yeah, it does. Yeah, we pause and wait. So, yeah, I think it's just a case of just kind of trying to stay in sync, to be honest. But ads US, outside US, no. Do we think Drew champ suits more? I think you could make Drew champion, but I'm not too down on Cody as champion. I just want us to have better stories for him. Right, there we go. We are back from commercial break. Okay, here comes Charlotte. Brian said, neither person is getting over in the feud. It's already been going on too long. Last chance is to try and insert Rhea with Damien to try and tell a compelling story, says Brian. Okay, here comes Charlotte with Alexa. Alexa has got Lily. Daze, do we think Carrion will ever come back? Well, I don't know, honestly. I mean, I think it's confusing as to why... I think it's confusing as to why we removed him in the first place. I don't know if there was a breakdown between him and Triple H. But I think it's very confusing as to why he's not around. Here's Charlotte then. Charlotte making her way down with Lash in the ring. Does the Queen have what it takes to bring down Lash Legend? Right, I think Alistair's cooked. I think the fans don't care about Alistair, no matter what creative give him, said WrestleRants. I think it's just because, as we said, you know, the feud has not been good. We can't point to any of those kind of great in-ring promos. We can't point to any, like, killer matches. And I think the end result is that people don't care. And unless you're going to improve in those areas, and, you know, flesh the character out. I think, you know, it's going to be a challenge to get the required momentum. So I don't know. I think you can do it. I think you can do it, but will they, you know? Are they going to be able to make it click? Okay, we got Alexa on the outside. We got Lash and Charlotte in the ring, and we're about to get underway. The two lock up, and we are underway with our second match. We're 45 minutes into the show. Jesse, hello, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a good one. Lash coming round, working on the arm there of Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte's cartwheeling over. Knee coming into the midsection as Charlotte goes down. Lash picking up Charlotte, slamming Charlotte down. Knee coming into the midsection there by Lash. Chop coming back there by Charlotte. Clothesline there by Lash as Charlotte goes down. Lash coming over. I really wish, actually, that we didn't have people at ringside. I don't need them. I actually think this would be beneficial if we just had these two in the ring going at it, because I sort of feel like Lash is a credible heel. Charlotte is obviously a very experienced, one of the most decorated, well, just general wrestlers. You know, she's right up there with world title reigns. Lots of WrestleMania appearances. She's been on the main roster for over 10 years. She's got the ability to, you know, bring out a good match in other people. We've seen her have good matches with Ronda and Becky and Rhea and... So I'd really like to see, like, really good match here. I always worry with people just hanging around on the outside that they're going to play a part. Charlotte is struggling a bit here with the size of Lash. Lash going into the... Oh, lovely back elbow by Lash. Kick coming in there by Charlotte. Charlotte backs over into the corner. Lash picks her up. Power bombs her down. Nia applauding on the outside of the ring as Lash gets up to her feet, looks out to the crowd, and we go back to commercial break. Right, there we go. Espaniator said, sorry, chat, but this is the worst SmackDown ever. Well, I don't think it's, at the moment, a very highly rated SmackDown, but... Again, it's Christmas. It's a tape show. Expectations were very low coming into it. And, you know, mentally, I've kind of written this week off, which maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. But I just sort of think taped Christmas show. I'm not going to be coming into these shows with too much of an expectation. To be honest, even next week when we get back to putting on live shows, I think we're just going to build to that kind of January 5th. Special. That for me is when we get going again. That sort of early January show, that's when we launch again. And that's when we really start 2026. So I'm hoping that show is going to be a big explosion, real big, lots of fun, lots of talking points. That'll, you know, new feuds and everything, and off we go then, you know. So, yeah, just a bit of a weird kind of time of year at this time. Bishop said, weird question. Do wrestlers have to approve tattoos? Yes. They are meant to. There have been many occasions where they've got them and not done that and then ended up getting into trouble. But, yeah, you do need to get approval because obviously it affects action figures. It affects renders and graphics, posters. You know, there's so many people that have got licenses that, yeah, it does need to get approved. I don't really understand the approval process. I mean, Dominic got a big neck tattoo. They allowed that, and, you know, that's obviously affecting figures and affecting all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, they haven't turned that down or said you can't. So I don't really understand, but, you know, yeah. From shoot interviews, I've always heard it has to be signed off. Wrestler Andy said, Daze, if Jericho debuted on that show, it would be good. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take Jericho. I think Jericho there or at the Rumble at some point in January, that would breathe some new life into things. So I'm down for that. Wrestler Andy said, Daze, I got a tattoo of a woman that tattooed Rihanna before. She said her team came in with NDAs to sign, so she couldn't sue her for the tattoo being on merchandise. Right, okay, interesting. Interesting. James said, R.I.P. to John Huber, Brody Lee, Luke Harper. So many people remembering him today. Yeah, anniversary, very sad. Legendary Larry said, we go 3 hours next week. We may get 5 matches in between commercials. January 5th, I just want the curtain reveal of Triple H to be a tradition, says Aaron. Yes, let's go. January 5th will be Stranger Things themed. Yeah, I don't watch Stranger Things, so I don't know how that's going to connect, but you are correct. It is going to be Stranger Things themed. I mean, I'm guessing that's going to have some backstage segments. Thank you, back from commercial. I'm guessing it's going to have some backstage segments. I'm guessing it's going to have the logo in the ring and on the barricades. Maybe some of the actors at ringside. Maybe some of the gear is going to be themed. I mean, it's going to have like some theming, but, you know, it's not going to completely dominate things. We've still got to do, you know, proper matches like Braun against CM Punk and, you know, whatnot. So, but yeah, there'll be definite moments. I could see Otis being confronted by one of the main characters or something, you know. But without watching the show, I can't really go into detail. Maybe we'll see 11. Perhaps we'll be introduced to 12. Right now, we've got Lash in control. Jordan said, Daze, I got an autograph of Thea Hale with the NXT Women's North American Championship. It really made my day. I got Handmade Fiend and Alexa painting frame. Oh, Jordan, very good. Shout out to you. Very good. It's always fun to hear of what people got for Christmas. Charlotte to the outside. Big boot there by Charlotte as Lash goes back to the middle. Jesse said, I'd like Natty to take the belt from Maxine. Well, Natty's not good enough, unfortunately. She tapped out. Like a loser. I would like that as well, to be honest. I'd like Natty to be IC champ. I really feel like that's something she should have already achieved, really. Chops coming in there by Charlotte. Lash going back against the ropes. This has been a perfectly fine match, actually. I don't think that was good by Charlotte. I don't know why she did that. She kind of like cartwheels over, but like, yeah, she cartwheels and then has to find her balance. Thankfully, she got murked for it. Lash with a big boot, capitalizing on Charlotte. I would say making a bad decision there. Charlotte going over, trying to get the pin on Lash. Lash right now, getting back up to her feet. Charlotte in the corner. Big boot there by Charlotte. Charlotte coming over. Goes down. The Queen is down. Lash coming over, grabbing Charlotte. Look at Charlotte into a DDT. I feel like some of this match has just got what feels to be a little sloppy towards the end. It just feels like people are going for moves. They're not quite in the right position. There's a bit of faffing around as people are being sort of dragged around or getting a little caught in moves. Maybe that's some of Lash's inexperience just showing through. It's just got a little clunky towards the end. Charlotte with a moonsault. Kick out by Lash. So Lash managing to get her shoulder up. Yeah, moonsault. Bang. Charlotte getting a little cute on the cover. Working on the leg here, Charlotte. We're almost done with the first hour. Sean said, Lash matches up well with Charlotte physically. I bet they could put on a banger. Tonight, if Lash wins, it won't be clean like against Alexa. Nia, Lash are solid, said Sean. Alexa jumps on the back of Nia. So they're brawling on the outsides. Yeah, I think at WrestleMania, these two could put on a decent match. During that distraction, Charlotte manages to secure the victory. So Charlotte gets a win over Lash. It does happen around the same time Alexa and Nia are brawling. So Nia tried to distract. As a result, Alexa came round. The whole thing descended into madness. Mello needs to retire. I know I'm saying it's a good match, said Miss Clown. What a match. I woke up and this is the match I get. I would rather have stayed asleep, says Rob. Ah, there's Trick. There was rumours that he was backstage for these tapings. Trick. Look at the size of Trick. He's got a good size over Cody as well. Okay, so Trick's like, Raw have got an offer. Are you going to match that offer? So it looks like we are moving with Trick. That's great. Control your emotions. Right now, Cody is talking to... Nick and Cody. Here's Trick. I'm the hottest free agent in the game. Oh, there is no way that he's going for that belt already. Listen, he's got a great size, very confident with his promos. He's a good promo. Match quality is about 3.5. Definitely would like to see that improve, but he is a star. And his entrance, his presentation is fantastic. Trick Williams is a big call-up. I mean, Trick Williams coming up breathes life into the main roster. Oberwood, Joe Hendry does. It just gives you new, fresh options. It's like getting new figures at Christmas. Ilja Dragunov making his way down. It's going to be Ilja against Carmelo. As we are about to go to commercial break and start the second hour. So we're 1 hour in. First hour done. And we are at commercial break. Right. If Nick makes the right choice, you had better hold that title tight. I mean, there's no way. There is no way we're moving that quick with Trick, but interesting. Interesting. Daze, here's one last Christmas offer to join the other side. 5 backstage passes, early access to my book, The Snowman, the Tony Khan story, and a full buffet pay-per-view access. Let's go, says Tony Khan. Well, the buffet does sound very tempting, to be honest. Word Live Cena fan said, Daze, we know Trick is going to SmackDown due to him being engaged to Lash. It's a good point. They do tend to keep couples together, so it's a really good point. Tyler said, sorry, Miss Clown, I'm getting tired of this horrible and lazy creative. My sons could do a better job. They've suggested better ideas tonight, says Tyler. Jesse said, I'd like to see Kaiser, Pete Dunne, drop. I'm surprised they haven't given him that as a name, actually. He's had such terrible names. Drop the El Grande Americano gimmicks. Well, you might be able to do that with Pete Dunne. And Tyler Bate, but I think Kaiser's really over in Mexico, and actually that might prolong his sort of life with that character. Is that they're really, really popular in Mexico. They've kind of struck gold there. Whether they'll keep it going for that reason, I don't know. But I could believe they have no alternatives for Kaiser. I could believe they don't have any other plans. But to be honest, I could believe they have nothing else planned for Pete or Tyler as well. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I really loved Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne as the Bruiserweight, British Strong Style. I thought they were credible. I think, you could put those two together as a tag team in the tag division. I think, that'd be a great tag team. Instead, they're Rio, Bravo, doing the Americano stuff. I don't know. It's not for me, but Grande's got some traction in AAA. Days, we in South Africa are not getting SmackDown Live. They're broadcasting last week's NXT. Do you not have access to Netflix? UK Netflix if you try a VPN. If you go over there, you should be able to see this week's episode of SmackDown. Weird, yeah. It's not live. It was taped, so I don't know where you go in South Africa for the shows. Perhaps it's not on Netflix where you are. James said, we are going to get the Spider-Man meme when Chad Gable returns and all the El Grandes are pointing at each other. Yeah, very good. He's a great wrestler, Tyler, says Jesse. Restaurant said, is Trick finally getting called up? Yeah, seems that way. Let's go. Makes sense why he's been off TV. His entrance is going to be so over from the start. I'm excited. If there is a silver lining to come out of this show, I think Trick Williams being called up is it so far. Charlotte Lash was okay. It looks like, I don't know what we're doing with Joe. I don't know if that's a call-up or if it's just a one-off appearance. Days, we've got a WWE channel on DSTV, but they're broadcasting NXT. Oh, that sucks. Try and, I don't know if you can use a VPN and go to UK Netflix, but if you can, you'll find the latest SmackDown on there. You might even be able to find it elsewhere, to be honest. You might even be able to find it on... like Watch Wrestling or something. Daze, what's the thoughts on Danhausen AEW contract running out soon? WWE are interested. Would you be down for that? Yeah, I don't mind Danhausen coming in. Comedy character. Yeah. I'd bring him into NXT. Okay, Solo with a message to the Wyatts. Oh, he's whistling. He's got the whole world in his hands. Oh, his hands. There we go. Ilja is in the ring. Dun, dun. Okay, Carmelo is coming down. Ilja, Carmelo. This should bang. This should lift our score. Ilja doesn't miss. Actually, I think their last match was really good. Got a good score. Just got interrupted, didn't it? Yeah, looks like a call-up is happening, said WrestleRants. We should dump our truth for Danhausen, said Joseph. Well, I think Danhausen brings something different. I mean, his humor isn't based on getting mixed up. I think he is quite a naturally funny person. I kind of like him trying to put spells on people, but they're not working. So, you know, he threatens to put spells on people, and then those spells don't work. But he'll be on the outside, like, doing all of this, and they're just sort of, like, looking at him strange. So, and I think he is quite naturally funny with, you know, calling, like, CM Punk Pepsi Phil instead of CM Punk. So, you know, there's things like that that I think just bring a bit of a different comedy to the show. I think comedy's really difficult to pull off because, you know, not everyone finds the same things funny. R-Truth has been amazing. People love R-Truth because he cracks it. Everyone can just enjoy, you know, what he's doing. Danhausen, I don't know. Will he get that sort of universal love that R-Truth gets? It might be quite divisive. Some people might enjoy it. Some people maybe will be like, this is stupid. I mean, that's what's so hard with comedy. Look at the Joe Hendry Miz match earlier, you know. They were going for comedy, but I don't think it really landed with everyone. You lot scored that match good 88. Comedy is difficult. This is why R-Truth is so special. But I'd give it a go. I think Danhausen could bring something. Okay, Ilja is fired up. Big forearm shot there by Carmelo. Imagine Danhausen cursing R-Truth and R-Truth truly believing he's been cursed. That could be great. And actually, if there is just some things that are going on just coincidentally, you know what I mean? Like, people around him are starting to have bad luck or whatever. And, you know, there could be some, yeah, I think that's really clever, James. I think there is definitely some comedy there to be found. Shot coming in there by Ilja. Danhausen will bring in the East Coast US crowd, said Joseph. Right now, Ilja keeping a hold of Carmelo, hitting him with Germans. Not people, just German suplex moves. Shots coming in there by Ilja is all over Carmelo, keeping him grounded. Carmelo getting back up to his feet. Ilja around the back. Ilja with some elbows coming in. I wonder what Carmen Live thinks of Danhausen. Do you think he's a fan, said Aubrey? Well, I don't know that Danhausen has ever been an ARW pro, so probably not, to be honest. If Danhausen has ever been to the Hammond, Indiana part of America, then I'm sure he's a massive fan. Ilja throwing Carmelo. Crowd a little bit subdued at the moment. Just warming their way into this match as Knee comes in. Ilja against the ropes. Big boot. Carmelo goes to the outside. Restaurant said, I think Danhausen would get a good pop initially, but then maybe fade as just another guy on the roster. Well, I think commercial break. I think the good thing about comedy is that it does keep you sort of relevant. So if you are the comedy person, then, you know, people will always sort of gravitate to your segments because they're going to provide something that's not really on the rest of the show. You know, Chelsea Green obviously does it really, really well. And so people gravitate towards her. R-Truth does it really well. Joe Hendry does it well. And look at the support he enjoys. So, again, it's very divisive. But if you can get it right, it can be really successful. So, I don't know. I really don't know how Danhausen's humor would translate. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is the bits that I saw of him, and he didn't get used that much, actually, in AEW when I was watching. But the bits I saw of him in AEW were pretty fun. His Pepsi Phil stuff. I remember there being an entrance where there was just lots of Danhausen faces sort of kind of bobbing from side to side. You don't really get that with R-Truth. You know, R-Truth is like plays it pretty straight and is just constantly getting confused. That's where the humor comes from. You know, he's trying his best, but he's just constantly getting stuff wrong. Whereas with Danhausen, he leans more into the fun aspect of, you know, like I remember the entrance where with lots of Danhausen faces, kind of like bobbing from side to side. He tries to put spells on people, calls CM Punk Pepsi Phil. These are the things I can recall. I think it's definitely bringing something that Chelsea's not doing. She's very self-centered. R-Truth's not doing. He tries to play it straight, gets lots of stuff wrong. Danhausen, I think, would bring something a little bit different. So I can see that it could work. It's so hard, though. With comedy, as I said, so subjective. There might be some people that just don't like it. But is it worth a try? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. I think it's definitely worth an attempt. So I would bring them in, definitely. Give it a go. WWE TKO being money hungry. Once they see merch sales it generates, they could put him on the main roster. If they market him correctly, it could be a dollar machine, said Sean. That's interesting. It could be, yeah. The good thing is, I mean, WWE is family entertainment. So, you know, if you can do something that's going to result in merch and masks, because he's got his face painted, of course. So I don't know if they'd do Danhausen masks or little Danhausen dolls or whatever. I'm sure Danhausen shirts, whatever. You know, the other thing as well is I think people are hungry for characters and gimmicks. I think people, you know, they enjoy difference because everyone feels so bland. A lot of people are just themselves. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, you know, they're just themselves. Ilja Dragunov. If you've got someone like Danhausen that's so different, face paint, and has got a character, and he's putting spells on people and everything, I mean, that's going to stand out. There's nothing else like that in WWE. So I think it will really resonate. I think you're right. Daze, we need a comedy faction, maybe like R-Truth and Santino and Joe Hendry and Danhausen and Jameson. Jameson ain't flying in 2026. Billy Kay. I don't even know if Jameson is still with us, actually. But Jameson. Could you imagine that character in 2026? Santino was hilarious, said Jay. He was brilliant. TKO is a stockholder company. I want my stock to go up in value, said Joseph. Restaurant said, I think that Chelsea... We're back from commercial. I feel that Chelsea and R-Truth are anomalies out of the whole roster. I guess I could see it working if they pair him with Punk, Truth, Mr. Iguana, that realm. We'll see Jericho if he returns, said Restaurants. James Ellsworth was hilarious, said Peacemaker. Yeah, he was a bit of an anomaly, wasn't he? He was an actual enhancement talent that really got over because he didn't have a chin. Chop coming in by Ilya. We are back underway. Let's end this poll so we don't get confused. So right now, Carmelo with Ilya. Big chop there by Carmelo. So you lot said that No, it wasn't Nia. It was Charlotte. Charlotte versus Lash. Looks like you said was good 89. Good 89. Some heavy-handed shots coming in here. Clothesline by Carmelo as Ilya goes down. Carmelo is over.
Oh, chop coming in against the ropes. Oh, lovely work there by Carmelo. Carmelo. He's got a red chest. Coming in. Oh. Kind of goes down. Ilja charging over. Big knee there by Ilja. 1, 2. Kick out there by Carmelo. Ilja is on the outsides. Going over to the corner, climbing up. Looking for a big senton. Senton there by Ilja. Carmelo charging over. Oh, takes Ilja down. 1, 2. No joy. Both of these guys down. Crowd are getting a little bit more invested. We're 15 minutes in, says Edwards. 15 minutes, what, into the match? Crowd are chanting, this is awesome. So we're just starting to get to that sort of this is awesome stage. Crowd have been a little bit subdued up until this point. But we're starting to click. It's starting to flow. Chop coming in. Another chop there by Carmelo. Ilja getting fired up. Forearm shot coming in there by Carmelo. And again. Carmelo with a chop, but gets grabbed there by Ilja. Ilja, another chop coming back. Ooh, chop into the legs. Big boot to the side of the heads. As Carmelo goes down again. Ilja. Ooh, I think he was going for H-bomb. No joy, though. Boot coming in there by Carmelo. Off that middle rope. Oh, lovely DDT. Coming off the middle rope, and Ilja gets the shoulder up. That was good. People on their feet. That was good. Yeah, step up Inzaguri. Look at that. Did Corey just call that a flying blind DDT? A flying blind DDT? Crowd are back with the "This is awesome" chant, but it's a more vocal "This is awesome" chant. Carmelo climbing up. In the corner. Is this going to be... Oh, I think he was going for the leg drop. Gets caught by Ilja. Back elbow there by Carmelo. Firing him in against the ropes. Middle rope. No joy. Ilja looking for that. Bang! Lovely clothesline. Is he going to go for like a super H-bomb? He's going up with Carmelo down. Senton. Yeah. Senton off the top. He gets a little bit of it. He didn't get all of it. Kick out there by Carmelo. Kick out by Carmelo. Are we going back to another commercial break, are we? Oh, God, yeah. Wow. They are giving this match time. So we go back to commercial break again. Days when my sons and I met Danhausen at an indie show. He was a great person and very funny. His in-ring work was great. He's actually a good wrestler too, says Tyler. Well, we'll have to see, won't we? We're going to have to see if they are going to sign him or not. I mean, I've got to think WWE would be interested. I think anything that can make you stand out in this day and age, you know, is a positive. There's so much content, so anything that can make you stand out. And I think he does stand out. So, I mean, yeah, I'd definitely be interested in him. I think he's a very interesting talent. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I've not heard any word or any rumor as to what we are potentially doing there. Okay, we are at ad break. We are at commercials. Very good match so far, said Black Onyx. Best match and moments of the year. Cena heel turn, returns, title changes, says Lamel. What, those are your favorite match moments of the year? WWE did their top 10. We looked at that in Unseen. I still hope for MJF to join. Yeah, I think he will one day. He's still very young, isn't he? Randy said, Days to Christmas, I got an Elite Series 4. Wow, Elite Series 4. Blimey now. We are up to like Elite Series 120 summit. So to go all the way back, you're going back to like 2010 with that figure. I don't know how easy that would have been to have found. So very good. Is that the one that came with the cloth jacket? I think it was, wasn't it? I think that's a sick figure. That is sick. 15-year-old action figure. Do you UK gents get Netflix with no commercials? Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what I don't know what level I've got. I'm sure it's the commercial-free level. And it is free of commercials, but just very occasionally they'll put one in. We did it on Raw on Monday, and I was watching the show, and then all of a sudden a couple of adverts got inserted. So, yeah, it is commercial free. It depends what level you've got, isn't it? I think they do different packages. We don't get WWE on Netflix in South Africa, says, oh, well, hopefully eventually you do. It's much better because you just get everything in one place. So it's very, very convenient. So I've got to think hopefully you will get over to Netflix eventually. Can we take the title off Cody? Even a blind person can tell that both of his reigns have been complete horse shiz, says Brony. We're back from commercial break, Sean. Thank you. Jesse said, ready for Orton to return. He still brings so much excitement and value to everything. Edward said, end of the adverts. Okay. Carmelo down. Ilja is standing over him. Ilja fighting on. Ilja with big boots. Ilja Dragunov coming over. We're 22 minutes in. Chop coming in. Against the ropes. Super kick. Carmelo coming over. No joy. He's got him up. Shot coming in there by Carmelo. And again, carrying him over to the corner. No joy at the moment. Chop coming in there by Ilja. Climbing up. Chop coming back there by Carmelo. And again. Headbutt there by Carmelo as Ilja goes down. Carmelo in the corner. Climbing up. Nothing but net. Oh. Eats Inzaguri. Look at that reaction. That's great. Wide-eyed reaction there by Carmelo. It's good timing that, actually. He gets kicked in the head right as he lands. Timing on that was really, really good. We are now at our third This Is Awesome chant. That's crazy, isn't it? Our third This Is Awesome chant. Right now, we got Ilja grabbing Carmelo. Shots coming in. Ilja is going over to the corner, grabbing Carmelo. Ilja looking out at the crowd. We're looking for a big superplex. He's got him up. He gets it. Wow, the strength He deadlifted Carmelo. H-bomb, knees up by Carmelo. Ilja. Ugh, big boot. That was great. Ilja with Carmelo, drives him down, goes for the cover. 1, 2. 2 count there by Ilja. People on their feet in the crowds. Some of the reactions, some of the moments, some of the selling, some of the near falls. I mean, this match alone is worth tuning into this show for. I mean, so far we've seen Joe Hendry on the show. We've seen Trick Williams backstage. We've had this match. I think these are the moments that are really saving this episode. Shot coming in there by Carmelo. Headbutt there by Ilja. Ilja is deceivingly powerful. I agree. I mean, if you look at him working out, I mean, he just... Oh! Was that reversed by Carmelo off the top? Was that like some sort of net breaker move? Shoulder up there by Ilja. Ilja gets the shoulder up. Carmelo down. Ilja down. People on their feet in the crowd. Blood on the face of Ilja. Yeah, he does kind of reverse it into a cutter, doesn't he? That is a sick move. That is a really sick move. Crowd again chanting, "This is awesome." Look at that kid's reaction. Oh my God. This is a really, really fantastic match. On the outsides, real battle, real heart being shown. On the shoulders right now, we've got elbows coming in there by Carmelo. And again, Carmelo on the outside. Chop coming back there by Ilja. Chopping away. Headbutt there by Ilja. Unloading on Carmelo. Carmelo on the shoulders. Bang! Lovely work. On the hardest part of the ring, he drives Carmelo down. It's like an AA. As Ilja is climbing back up. This has been going for half an hour. 27 minutes. Double knees by Carmelo. Melo to the outsides. Melo climbing up. The crowd are going crazy right now. Melo with the leg drop. Boom, connects. Melo 1, 2, 3, and no. United States champ. Everyone on their feet. Everyone smiling. We had about 3 or 4. This is awesome chants. This match absolutely cooked. Carmelo on his knees. It was always going to take something really special to beat Ilja Dragunov, and that was special. Carmelo Hayes is him. It's a wonderful, like, passing of the torch. Brilliant. Such amazing energy. And the crowd really played their part as well. Brilliant. Such wonderful energy from the fans. There is Carmelo. Oh, Ilja grabbing that belt. I think he wants to be the one to hand it over. Ilja coming round. He's putting the belt around the waist of Carmelo. Ilja said he wanted to know. He wanted to know. Well, he found out. He found out who is the better between the two of them, and he got that answer tonight. On this night, Melo didn't miss. He knows in this instance, Ilja, that the better man won. Brilliant. I mean, honestly, how they have booked that title run from Sammy going into Ilja going into Carmelo has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Whoever's booking that, I wish they would book the, you know, the top titles. Brilliant. Mello won the championship. He did. Mello is him, says Wyatt. Mello is him. There he is. Look, his chest is red raw. Big moment. Great. Okay, we're backstage with Alexa and Charlotte. Here's Rhea and Io. Okay, so we've got Lash and Nia backstage. We've got Rhea and Io. Alexa. Here's Asuka. Kyrie. The champs are here. The champs are here. Nick Aldis is there. There's a lot of pushing and shoving. Okay. Here we go. Here's what we're going to do. Next week. Yeah. Yeah. A woman tag match. Right. Just do a ladder match, you clown. We want a ladder match. Okay, here's Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green. So, 8-woman tag match has been made for next week. I'm a hot mess. Oh. Okay. Chelsea Green coming down. She facing Julia. Because Julia beat Alba, didn't she? So I think it's her next. Days. We aren't having ads at the minute because the shows are recorded. And next week it goes back to normal. Yes. I made sure not to watch any spoilers. I had a feeling this match might go to him, said Joseph. I'd love to see that feud again with Charlotte and Becky, said Jordan. But it's a tag match. Oh, tag match. Chelsea and Elba versus Julia and Kiana. I wonder when we're doing Chelsea and Julia then. I thought this was going to be it. Gang on. Commercial break. Commercial break. We're back at commercial. Right. Shouldn't Piper be back soon, said Black Eye. I don't think they know when Piper's coming back, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when we're getting I don't know when we're getting her back. I mean, I know there was fears that she might not be able to return anytime soon. So I honestly have not heard anything more. No further updates. Right. What happened to Chelsea looking for another member of the Harvest? Yeah, that all seemed to settle down, didn't it? Feels like there was some fun to be had with that. I don't know if it settled down because of it being the holiday periods, but I'm surprised that we didn't do more with that. Sean said, that match was, if not the best match WWE gave us on free TV, it's top 3 for the year. This is what mid-card titles are for, getting new talent over and progressing careers. Wyatt 6661 said Oba is coming to SmackDown next week. Looks like. Is he? Robbie said, Daze, are you ready for a double SmackDown stream in 2 weeks? weeks. Are you ready for a double Smackdown stream in 2 weeks? I don't know what that means. WWE needs to give Piper a title run as well. I don't know if when she's coming back, but I don't think she's in a very good place physically. It's rumored that Piper might not return at all, said Joseph, but I hope that's not the case. BB Yipsy said, the question is, will Carmelo keep the open challenge? Christopher said, SmackDown is slightly better than Raw because of Ilja Carmelo match. It was very good. Very, very good. Very fun. I enjoyed that match a lot, and I would agree that it was a positive. The European tour begins in 2 weeks. SmackDown on Netflix early for everyone but the US. Oh, is it? Didn't even think about that. Yeah, I suppose we will have to be doing 2 SmackDown streams then. They should have put Bailey Humphrey in with the Hervis, said Black Onyx. Daze, I can't believe amazing booking with Sammy and Ilja, said TJF. What, for the mid-card belt? Yeah, I agree. Really strong. It's not true. Raw is better, said Nathan. WWE is going to return to Puerto Rico for Backlash, said Radiated Zombie. Daze, what did you get for Christmas, said Benny. Yeah, I got some figures and I got my Haribo, my jar of Haribo, which is a proper Haribo jar as well. So, loving this. So, very happy with that. It does mean I might be eating more Haribo in my life, though. But a very fun gift to receive. Jar of sweets. No one's ever going to be down on that. Basically, as an adult, I got sweets and toys. I'm adulting really well. I got Haribo in a Haribo jar. And it says Haribo on the jar. It's a proper Haribo jar. From the Haribo shop. And I got toys. Look at me being an adult. Yeah. We're back from commercial. Okay, Carmelo backstage with Kathy. Listen. I was delayed but not denied. Oh, Johnny attacks. Johnny attacks. Carmelo backstage. That title is mine. What a division. Carmelo, Ilja, Johnny Gargano. What a division. Honestly, the SmackDown men's mid-card division might legitimately be the best division in all of WWE. Okay, Chelsea in there with Alba, and here comes the beautiful madness. William Hensey. I mean, Julia. Here's Julia. Julia coming out with Kiana James. Tyler said, do we see WWE using the Wyatts this year? Yeah, no, I think they will. I think the reason why they didn't use them last year was because of injury. We know that Bo was dealing with injury, and then of course Bo had issues with his dad not being well. So yeah, I think that providing we don't have any of those kind of external problems, then yeah, I don't see why we don't invest in them. I think we would have invested in them more in 2025 if it weren't for some of those things. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, Kiana and Julia are in the ring, and we'll be underway with this match. How long we got? 20 minutes? Don't think this thing's going to go too long, to be honest, but... Is Julia buried if she doesn't win? Yes. Yeah, She's definitely buried. Okay. How was your Christmas there, Trey? It was fine, but as expected. I'm just not a great person for Christmas. I'm not very good at it. Because, like, obviously you have to have Christmas lunch at lunchtime, which is like middle of the night for me. I don't tend to eat loads of food or drink loads of alcohol, and that's kind of a part of Christmas. It doesn't have to be. But you do just naturally, like, do you know what I mean? I'll try a bit of that. I'll try a bit of that. And by the time you've tried a bit of everything, your plate's overflowing. Which, you know, I mean, God, you can't complain about that, can you? But, yeah, it was good. Tag being made. Chelsea going over. Tags in Albert. Right, we're going to have to end this poll because we're going to get confused otherwise. So, you lot said it was great. 81. You really enjoyed that match. Oh, wow. Julia yelling, shut up. To Chelsea. Kiana coming. It's so weird. All these heels fighting each other. Crowd a little bit quiet at the moment, but then they have just seen a banger. Over in the corner, driving shoulder into the midsection. Charging in again. She's going to take your title, Kiana says. DDT there by Albert. Crowd are really quiet. Down goes Kiana. Chelsea against the ropes. Slams Kiana down. 1, 2. Kick out. Grabs the hair. Headlock is being applied. Chelsea turns around, blows a kiss over to Julia. This is your girl. Kiana getting out, knee to the midsection. Kiana against the ropes. Over the other side. She's going to skin the cat. Chelsea saluting in the background. Oh, I don't know what Kiana... I don't know if Kiana was trying to skin the cat, but she didn't manage it. I wonder if she tries to skin the cat, doesn't, and ends up, like, just abandoning it. I'm not sure. The way she went over, it really felt like she was trying to get back in the ring, but she doesn't. She ends up sort of letting go, crashing to the outside and just tagging Julia in. I'd love to see some fan footage of Kiana trying and failing to get back in the ring. Julia to the outside. Julia is tagged. She is going up. Chelsea is shouting out to the fans. Julia, missile drop kick. Down goes Chelsea. In comes Alba. Big boot. Alba goes down. Again, crowd really quiet. It sucks some of my family have beep that they can't get well either, says Corey. Corey, shout out to you, buds. Oh, arrivederci, says Julia as she pins Chelsea and gets the win. Julia pins Chelsea. Kiana and Julia picking up the victory in a bit of a nothing match, to be honest. Right, let's get a poll up for that, shall we? We are running out of time. We've only got 16 minutes. 16 minutes left to go. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, got Kit Wilson. Okay, well, Drew's coming out. So Kit Wilson was just told that there'll be something coming up for him. Drew McIntyre making his way out to the ring. Control your emotions. Let me handle this. So Drew is coming out. Looks like Nick Aldis is going to come out. Cody's been told he's got to control his emotions. 14 minutes left in this show. So Kit Wilson has got some sort of opportunity next week. Please welcome Drew. Where's Alan Prince? I think he's injured. I think he's injured. Drew making his way down to the ring. I feel like we've got another commercial coming up. Dun, dun, dun. Drew is right. Drew got Cole in his stockings. Imagine Michael Cole in stockings. No one needs that. I don't care how bad you've been. Looks like Drew is wearing a prison suit. He looks like he could be a model for like H&M. Love that for him. Love that for him. Right, we've gone to commercial break, and I think this is our final commercial break. Daze, yes, Hendry is beautiful madness. Maybe a promotion to Wise Man. Hendry's not making Wise Man, but I think you've been drinking from the Hendry Kool-Aid, to be honest. There ain't no way he's making it to flipping Wise Man status. Adverts. Yes, adverts. It is advert time. Right. Kit Wilson is going to be the new SmackDown jobber, says Brian. Bad enough we've seen Michael Cole in that orange Syracuse singlets. We'll never forget that. I will never get that erased from my mind. Julia wins equals an automatic great vote from me, said Robbie. Robbie, shout out to you, buds. Hope you had a good Christmas. Nathan said Drew deserves better. Why? Why? Says Nathan. Well, he's certainly going to be getting a title match. We're going to find out the stipulation of that. He's keeping it quite close to his chest. So when we come back from commercial break, we'll have this final segment that's going to involve Cody and Drew and Nick Aldis. And we should find out when that match is going to be and what the stipulation is going to be. Wrestle with Andy said, do we think we will never do tribute to the troops again? It's a weird one, that, isn't it, to be honest? It seems like TKO just aren't that fussed about doing a tribute to the troops. I don't really get it, to be honest. I mean, I think it's a nice thing to be associated with. So I don't really understand. But, yeah, okay. If you want to focus on other things, fine. I feel like eventually we will get back to, doing stuff with the troops. I just think from a PR point of view, it's a good thing to support. I mean, every country is proud of their military. Every country is proud for those that kind of stand up and, defend their rights. And, it's always been a very understandable sort of partnership. I don't really know why TKO have moved away from it, but one day I expect them to be kind of going back to that. Daze, Michael Cole in that singlet or my Christmas picture I sent you. Who wore it better, says Corey. Honestly, I think everyone wore it about the same. Or all of them bring nightmares. How's this going to go, said Hawks fan. Well, we haven't got long to find out. We should be back from commercial break very, very soon. And then this will be our final segment. We will be live doing our breakdown after. We will do an opinions video. And then I'll gather together all the unseen bits and bobs. And as long as we've got enough stuff, we'll get an unseen done. We had lots of people send in what they had for Christmas, which is cool. That folder's great. But I think we need more than that, obviously. So, like, we need what wrestlers have been up to and, you know, bits and bobs like that. So that's the bit that's lacking. So I'll have a look at that. But, yeah, we'll do the breakdown and everything. We're back. Ooh, okay. Ober Femi vignettes. They're showing Ober marking Cody from Saturday night's main event. He is the ruler. Okay, SmackDown goes 3 hours next week. They're saying Ober is going to be a game changer, but they don't really dig into if he's coming to SmackDown. I mean, I'd imagine he is. Why would you show a vignette of him on SmackDown if he's not coming to SmackDown? Okay, 8-woman tag match next week. Jade and Michin next week. Alistair and Damien next week. So Corey said, hopefully they can settle this once and for all. 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let them know we're on the way. Counting zeros every day. Hey. Okay, in the ring then we got Drew and Nick. I'm not going to put all the blame on you, Drew. Cody has been out of line as well. Okay. Let's see what Drew's got to say. Oh, yeah, he's got to apologize to the ref, hasn't he? Okay. Dan, I'm genuinely sorry that I claymored you. Okay. Okay, he apologizes to the ref. That wasn't easy. Oh, hello, we're carrying on. It's obviously your dream to be a wrestler. But you weren't good enough, so you had to be a referee. Let me come down to your level. I apologize to your wife? Wow. I apologize to your wife who saw me claymore you in the face and wished that I was with Drew. I apologize to your children. This is so nice from Drew. He's apologized to the ref, but he's also apologized to the ref's wife, the ref's kids. Here's Cody. Cody coming down. Well, I'd say Drew went above and beyond. We were only looking for the ref to get an apology, but he's gone and given an apology to everyone. Okay, Cody is making his way down. Not the kids, said Kader. Not the kids. Cody making his way down. Drew in the ring. Do it. Hit me. Hit me. Yeah. I can see it in your eyes. Fans are singing Cody's theme. Yeah. I like this segment. It's a good end, actually. He is trying to fire him up. Shed those tears like a teenage girl. He does cry a lot. Do it. Do it, Cody. Your family weren't there when I attacked that tour bus. But I wish they were there. I wish your wife Brandy could see what a real man looks like. He does want to do it. He does want to do it. Ah, here we go. We're not doing the match in America. Okay. Three stages of hell. Okay. So that's three separate matches. Each with a stipulation. And that's going to be on the European tour. In Germany. Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, my God. When I send you straight to hell, say hi to your dad from me. Cody tries to break free from Nick Aldis. He eats a claymore. But there we go. The stage is very much set. Drew Cody for the WWE Championship in Germany. Oh, that was a killer line. That was a killer line. Drew holds up that championship. And is that a glimpse of what we're going to be seeing in just a few weeks' time? There we go. Do you know what? I like it. I like the ending. Ilja against Carmelo was fantastic. I think the ending was really interesting. I think the show might have started off a little bit rough, a bit divisive. But yeah, I think there was some good stuff there. Okay. What did you think about SmackDown? You can leave your feedback. Obviously, we're going to be live in a moment. Actually, it didn't feel... I mean, a big thank you, Sean, and everyone that was letting me know about the commercials. I kind of felt like we stayed in sync, not too bad, to be honest with you. I didn't really feel like people were saying, oh, you're massively out or anything. So that's great. I mean, we're pretty much done with the tape shows apart from NXT. So brilliant, we were able to kind of stay in sync and, or at least there or thereabouts, you know. Sean said SmackDown has just had a huge injection of new talent if they are getting Ober, Trick, Joe Hendry and Lash. Yeah, yeah, I agree. And you know, I mean, it really is going to freshen things up. So, you know, a Theory being back, Bianca coming back, maybe getting Jericho as well. Like, yeah, there's some reasons to be optimistic as we head into the next year. Cody can't touch Drew, but what about Goldust? Or what about Stardust? What if he came out as Stardust? Stardust. Building up for January 5th, said Hawks fan. Australia all out. England's target 175. Oh, it's a bit of a mountain in it. That would need to be the biggest score of the match. It's achievable, but we're going to need players that are going to stand up. People are going to have to deliver. I think you got to say Australia are favourites, but it's achievable. So yeah, England need to score 175 to win this test. It's possible. It's a chance. It's going to be very, very interesting, that. So, but I need to go. I need to do the breakdown, of course. Right. If Papa H makes Cody come out as Stardust, I will give his booking a break, said Aubrey. Big Time said, Daze, unfortunately, I accidentally fell asleep 30 minutes before SmackDown was going off the air. I've woke up and 1 hour and 15 minutes passed by. Well, honestly, I think it was a mixed bag. I think this SmackDown had some real positives, and I think there was, you know, it was a mixed bag. So we'll kind of do the breakdown, get our teeth into that. We'll do the opinions video. Then I'm going to work on Unseen. I don't think there's a stream tomorrow, but I will try and get a video out, an Unseen video or something. Sunday, I've got my whole family round, so that's out the question. That's messy. But Monday, of course, we're back for Raw. Monday is when I'm seeing things starting to get back to normal. So, you know, obviously it's just a weird time of year at the moment. So I hope you are making the most of it. I hope you're having a fantastic Christmas time and even enjoying this Twixmas period. But, yeah, you know, I'll take that. That was better than, you know, nothing. And on we go. On we move. So some grass, some green shoots kind of coming through as we head to 2026 with lots of NXT talent being teased. So, yeah, good. Exciting. Right, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the support as always. I'm going to run and do that breakdown. And, yeah, have a great weekend. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.